Today on Dr. Phil. Is someone in your family taking advantage of you?
Brenda's daughter, son-in-law, and baby are living with her and her husband.
This man is too lazy to find a job.
If he has to go flip hamburgers, that's what he needs to do.
You can't make a living off of flipping a hamburger.
That's $8 closer than you are now.
But is this mother the one to blame?
Are you making it too easy for him?
You're going to ask me a question, let me answer.
You can answer it when I finish asking it. I'm not going to let you waltz around and make excuses for him.
Has your loved one become a mooch?
He sits around all day talking to babes on the internet, playing video games, refuses to apply for jobs. May I ask, what the hell are you thinking? Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6.
If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by A, and roll A, check in.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Okay, now, I understand I'm supposed to be Mr. Analytical Boy, right? Supposed to figure stuff out, but there are some things that I just don't get. Today, we're talking about one of the things that I just don't get. All children dream of growing up and moving away from home, right? Wrong! Wrong! Some of them don't seem to get this change of address thing in their minds. What if it seems like your child's only dreams to keep living with you? And they have no desire to get up off their butt and get a job and go to work. They don't even want to take out the trash. They want to sit on your couch, eat your food, spend your money, watch your TV, drive your car, and sleep late. Now, today we're talking to people who need to get their act together. My first guest, Amanda, her husband Mike, and their baby are all living with her parents in her mom and dad's tiny 3-bedroom apartment. They're not 13, 14, 15-year-old. These are grown people. Amanda's sister Heather says Mike and Amanda are so disrespectful to her parents, whose house they're living in and groceries they're eating, that her mom and stepdad should just kick them out right now. Take a look.
My sister is 25. She's married, she has 1 son, and she lives with my mom. I'm frustrated. I'm completely frustrated.
Right now we live in an apartment.
Me and my wife sleep in the living room on an air mattress.
My baby sleeps in with my mom.
It's tight, it's stressful.
Having 2 families living in the same house, just not working.
My mom is constantly telling me how hard it is having them live there because they are so disrespectful to her.
We're living here because it's rough, trying to make it on what my income is. I've done what I can.
I just want my husband to step up to the plate and be a man, take care of his responsibilities.
He loves excuses. He blatantly will not flip burgers. You tell him, oh, you can make good money doing this, and if the work's too hard, he's not going to do it. It's laziness.
Hey, stop, give me that. Quit spraying it like a 2-year-old.
He's immature, almost like a toddler.
Living with Brenda and Mike, it's hard. Living under somebody's roof with their rules.
During the weekdays, we ask that they come in by 10 o'clock because of the hour that my husband gets up in the morning.
It's just plain out ridiculous. I'm an adult. I don't need a curfew. Brenda gets up like at 6 o'clock in the morning and wants to do dishes. And we're trying to sleep. I can't take it anymore. It's like I want to just tell them, quiet down.
Amanda does not work. She has had about 3 jobs since 16.
Amanda spends most of her time during the day on my couch.
They'll come in and say, well, what's for dinner? Well, you know how to cook. There's the kitchen. Go find something to make. When it's time to clean up, they got someplace to go. We basically get stuck doing it.
My sister could be in the room and it's mom get the baby, mom feed the baby, mom change the baby's diaper. Amanda and Mike don't have their act together. They rely on my mother and my father to support them.
We've done our job. We've raised our kids. I think it's time for Mike and Amanda to have their own life so me and Brenda can have ours.
Okay. What's going on here, guys? You wrote in.
Yes, I did.
And you think that your mother and stepfather are just getting bled dry.
Yes, I do.
Ripped off.
Yes, I do.
And you think your sister knows what she's doing.
Yeah, I think she should be out. I think she knows that she shouldn't be living with my mom, but she still does.
What do you say to that, sis?
Well, I do live with my mom. My husband's not working. Right now, I just got a job. I'm starting next week. I had to get a job right after I had my son, so it was very hard to watch him do everything grow up, you know. So I ended up quitting because I need to be there for him. But my husband has a problem getting out there and getting a job and supporting his own family.
What's the story? Why are you not working?
Well, because back in September of last year, I got arrested, so it's kind of hard because of my record, trying to get out there and get a job because then nobody wants one.
Okay, do you know why you got arrested?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so do I. I know why you got arrested, because you were again trying to find an easy way to get by. You were on the staff at a prison?
Yep.
And you were smuggling marijuana into the prison to sell to the inmates.
Yeah, but...
Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a criminal enterprise.
I deal with it because of those actions. Now this is what I'm being paid for now, because of what I messed up, what I did.
Well, you're not paying the price.
Well, now I'm paying for it.
No, they're paying for it.
Well, I'm paying for it because I can't get a job now.
Yeah. Well, Mom, what do you think about this? You and your husband are really making sacrifices here, right?
Yeah, we are, and they know what we do. We conflict over this constantly. Our thing is, we love Michael. He's part of our family. He's another one of my sons. Sure. The only thing is that we want him to be able to go out, and we've told him, you know, it's time to go out and get that application. We believe that if he has to go flip hamburgers, that's what he needs to do to provide for his family.
But he won't.
But you say that's beneath you.
I mean, you can't make a living off of flipping hamburgers. It's not going to get you anywhere in life.
Yes, I did.
You can come closer than no income.
Back in the day, maybe it was, but nowadays you can't survive off of, you know, $8 or whatever it is that minimum wage is nowadays.
But that's $8 closer than you are now.
That's very true, but how is it going to get me a place if I'm not, you know, doing high-earning jobs? Because
okay, I want to have this dialogue with you. I really do, because I think that you guys somehow or another, and I have a sneaking suspicion how they got this way. Because you love these kids, and so you sacrifice for them.
I don't know how to turn it off, though.
Oh,
it's like running water.
You are so in the right place. You are so in the right place. But I want to have a conversation with you about what your job is as a husband and a father, and what your rationale is for not doing something other than what you're doing right now. So coming up, Heather says that her mom is afraid to ask Mike and Amanda to leave because, one, Mike's temper, and there's something even more compelling than that. We're going to discuss it all when we come back.
Amanda and Mike definitely live off my mom and my dad. My mom has definitely contributed to the problem.
Me and my mom, we do everything together. I've always been close to her. We're like best friends.
It's her last kid, and she's trying to keep her close to home. Kind of the empty nest syndrome. I tell her all the time to kick them out.
When Amanda and Michael moved in, we had brand new furniture. They tend to kick the feet up on the table. The baby is in the walker, and he rammed the entertainment center so bad that the wood is chipping. My couch is stained. They just don't have respect for my stuff. That really annoys me.
Well, I'm talking to Heather, who says her sister Amanda needs to get her act together. Now, Amanda, her husband Mike, and their baby are living with her parents. Now, her mom, Brenda, says Amanda's husband, Mike, is disrespectful and has a temper. Now, help me understand this. These people, this is your husband down here, stepfather, also Mike. You're the only one with a job, right?
Yes.
You're working and you're supporting two families.
Right.
It gets kind of tiresome, doesn't it?
Yeah, really tiresome.
Yeah, but you're living off of them. Do you all agree?
No, actually I don't. My husband does make money, and he does contribute. He does help with groceries. We help pay rent.
We added that up. It's $447 in the last 6.5 months. If it wasn't for them, you would be under the bridge?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Do you believe that's an imposition on them?
It's not when you're paying for stuff. I mean, you're paying for your roof, you're paying for where you sleep, and you pay for what you eat. So, I mean, really, we're not like living under the roof for free.
They don't want you there. That's an imposition. They don't want you there. They want you to live on your own. Do you get this? He doesn't appreciate. You don't appreciate it, do you?
I appreciate it,
because you're saying, hey, we pay.
No, I'm not saying that I don't appreciate it. I appreciate it and everything, but I mean, it's not like we're here. Let's live here for free.
You pretty much do. I don't think you've done the math. Do you think you have a sense of entitlement?
No, I mean, yeah, it's our roof too. We live there too. We pay rent.
I think what he's trying to tell you is that you're married, you have a family. People that get married and have families move out, get a home, make their own rules, make their living. That's not happening here.
If there's not something they're giving you, if this isn't an imposition on them, if you're just paying your own way, then pay it somewhere else. That's all you got to do is just pay, and then the problem's solved. Because I made a list here of the things that we're going to get to you in a minute, but things that everyone has described about you. You say that you're basically lazy. You said, I could work as a laborer, but I'm too lazy. Your mother-in-law says you're a smart aleck, that if you don't hear what you want to hear, that you'll just pout or cry, that you get mad when you're asked to take the trash out, that you got physical with her when you got upset with her, that you're sarcastic and call her dude.
Yeah.
Well, you don't look like a dude to me, but you said, I pay for everything I own. I pay for it. You keep saying that. And they were supposed to pay rent, right? You decided, okay, you're going to have to start paying some rent. How much?
Last month they paid $400. They gave me 2 or 3 days ago. They gave me $47.
The week before, $50.
And she needed $7 back. I gave that back to her. And
I didn't ask
part of that, though, was I did understand it. The guy that he's working for, Mike comes home, he's very upset because the guy doesn't pay him like he's supposed to. So when he came in, the only amount of check instead of $200.
Why are you making excuses for him?
I'm not making excuses.
I'm beginning to totally see why this is happening.
I'm not making excuses for him. I'm telling you, the guy doesn't pay him.
Okay, so is this all happening because the guy wouldn't pay him? Come on. That's a part-time job at best, right? He makes between $280 and $320 is what he usually brings home from that.
Okay, you're going to ask me a question. Let me answer.
You can answer it when I finish asking it.
Okay.
Because you want to know my opinion, I'm going to give it to you, and I'm not going to let you waltz around and make excuses for him.
I am not making
You got to get tough. He's not working. He doesn't have a job. He could get out and get a job. He is sullen, he is immature, and he won't get out and get a job. That's the bottom line, right? Yes. Is that true or false?
Yeah. I agree with that.
Okay, is that true or false?
I guess it's true. Whatever.
I'm sorry?
I guess it's true, whatever.
Is this where the pouting starts?
No. It's not.
Come on, I'm trying to give you a wake-up call here. This isn't a way to live your life. You got in trouble. You can't undo that, right?
Yep.
You can't undo that, so you got to get out and get a job. If you could get out and make $8 an hour, working 40 hours a week, that would be, what, $1,400 a month, $1,500 a month? What difference would that make to y'all right now if they were contributing, say, $1,000 a month?
$1,000, we'd be getting our own place if we were going to contribute $1,000.
All right, coming up, can Mike and Amanda get their feet on the ground while living under somebody else's roof? We're going to talk about what has to happen to move this from where it is to where it should be for them. Not just for them. I'm appealing to your greed. You don't like this. We'll be right back.
I went out on my own when I was 15. Myself and my husband had twin daughters. He just worked. We had our own apartment. Amanda and Mike need to move out on their own.
I dated my husband in high school. We dated for probably less than a year.
My sister did leave him because he did end up hitting her.
About 4 years later, we got back together and we decided to get married and have family. We've had like a couple slaps, but it wasn't nothing major.
Michael can be the sweetest guy you've ever met, but he can also be the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
He does get short-tempered and he does take it out on me a lot.
I've heard him talk to my daughter in a very degrading manner, calling her filthy names, telling her that she's fat. I believe that what he's doing and the way he's doing it is a form of abuse.
Well, we're talking to people who, in my opinion, need to get their act together. Heather says she can't stand that her mom, Brenda, and her stepdad, Mike, have been supporting her sister's husband, and their new baby. She wants her mom to kick them out of her house. Brenda says, look, I couldn't function if my daughter and grandchild were on the street. See, there's the big hook. There's a baby involved here, right? That's what makes it so tough. You couldn't go a day thinking about that baby on the street, right? That's just, that's harder. There's not even any point in me asking you to do that, because you're not going to let that baby suffer, right? What do you want them to do?
I want them to get some counseling. I want either to make it right or do whatever they have to do. They made a choice as a man and a woman, that they chose to live together to be man and wife. They chose to have a baby. Now they have to choose to have a roof over their head that's theirs, and to protect that child. That's their job. That's her job. That's his job. The baby comes before everything.
She's not even able to be a grandma right now because she's acting, you know, a lot of times as parent, because whether my sister's working, she was working a little bit before, and then when she's there, she'll say, Mom, get the baby, or Mom, do that, or whatever. So my mom's acting as, you know, mom and not grandma.
Are you making it too easy for them?
Sometimes I do.
Are you letting them get away with this?
Yeah.
I mean, because we know, we've all heard the buzzword enabling. I mean, if you guys weren't there, if y'all moved to Anchorage and they were just left here, what would happen?
They would get on a sled, a horse, or whatever they had to get on, and they would follow me.
If
they love me.
All right. If you moved and didn't tell them where you were going and they couldn't find you, they would have to, I mean, necessity is the mother of invention, right? They would have to get up and do something. We can probably help you in this regard. We can probably help you get a job and get your feet on the ground and get out there. But the fact is, you don't much cotton to working, do you?
I can work. I ain't got no problem with working.
Well, your enthusiasm is underwhelming. I mean, you just like, hey, I can work, man. I mean, put me in, coach, later. You have to understand that these people don't owe this to you. There's a point at which kids reach a certain age that it's time for you to stand on your own 2 feet. And you say, $8 is not enough for me to work. That would be true if you had a job for $9 or $10 or $11 or $12. But if it's like, okay, no dollars or $8? No dollars, $8. I think I'd take the $8. And while I was doing that, I'd be working for a job that was $12 or $20 or $25 an hour. I'd be trying to work my way up. You got to do something that gives you a chance to get moving. You say you're getting ready to start a job. How many jobs have you had?
I've had 3 other ones.
What's the longest you've had a job?
3 months.
3 months. These people didn't live all their lives, so when it got to a chance where they could kind of just live, the two of them, and have a nice apartment and kind of enjoy life and maybe do a few things, take a vacation or something, all that's off the table because y'all won't work. Do you feel bad about that?
Yeah, but my husband should be out there working too, because if he's working, I mean, if he's not working, then someone has to get a job, but someone has to take care of my son too. So therefore, that's why I'm trying to get him to be the man to get out there, work, so I can stay home and take care of what's my responsibilities at home.
You got to get a job. Whatever job you can find. If the best job you can find today is minimum wage, then you got to work for minimum wage. And if you don't have a job, if you don't have a job, your job is finding a job. You should work at least as hard looking for a job as you would if you had a job. I think you ought to work harder. I think you ought to spend 12 hours a day looking for a job that you would work 9 hours a day on if you got it, because you don't have it. I mean, that's your responsibility. All right, look, let's take a break. Bottom line, I'm going to talk about what I think each person here, 5 people involved here, I have suggestion for each. We'll be right back.
Amanda tends to talk to me in ways that I would never, ever think about ever doing with my mother.
My sister likes to tell my mom to shut up. My sister has called my mom a bitch.
Because I tell her, Amanda, please get up and get the baby. Something she doesn't want me to tell her. When my daughter's disrespectful to me, it breaks my heart.
Well, we're talking to people who I think need to get their act together. Brenda's daughter, son-in-law, and baby are living with her and her husband in a tiny 3-bedroom apartment and barely pay for diapers. Brenda says she has to get in her son-in-law's face to even get him to take the trash out. Now, her husband, Mike, says, look, I'm getting burnt out being the sole breadwinner for 2 families, and I don't blame you a bit. Look, let me speak to you first. You teach people how to treat you, right? And you are a victim of emotional extortion here, because they got this baby, and that's the chip. They know she ain't gonna kick us out because we got the baby. They know that. It's a threat. It's emotional extortion. It's blackmail. It's like, we got the baby, you can't kick us out because you want your granddaughter on the street? You want this baby under a bridge? I mean, you're getting leveraged with that. And I don't know if y'all are conscious of doing that or not, but you have to get a job. And there is no way, I could even understand if you had people that were living with you and they were, number 1, appreciative. Number 2, they were respectful. And they were, number 2, saying, look, I can't financially pull my weight right now. Let me clean the house. Let me take care of the cars. Let me go do the shopping for you. Anything I can do to make your life easier for allowing me to be here, that would be one thing. But that isn't what's happening, is it? You're getting disrespect. You're getting name calling. They can leave the baby, but they need to go. And if they go and they don't take care of the baby, then call Child Protective Services and they'll give you the baby. You don't have to be blackmailed over that baby. You guys can lose that child if you don't take care of it. If you don't get up and do what you have to do, then you don't deserve to have that child.
But we do take care of my son. We do.
You take care of your son
helps.
in your mother's house. She provides the roof.
Whether it's in my mom's house
your
or not.
stepfather provides the roof. They buy the diapers. They buy the milk.
No, they don't. No.
Okay.
They don't. I'm sorry. But we get out there and we take our money. That's the first thing it goes to. We buy food, we buy diapers, we buy clothing. We do everything we can for that child.
But you live with mom doing it.
It doesn't matter. She is there for support, but she is not taking care of him.
If you want to be mad, you should be mad at him.
But she's not taking care of him.
I am the grandmother. I am not Myrma the maid. I am the grandmother. I help. That doesn't mean for me to take charge. That means you need to come in and you need to do it. Don't sit in the corner playing the game or reading a book. When the baby is into something, that means you get up immediately and you take care of that baby.
I do get up and take care of my son.
No.
Yes, I do.
Honey, that's why...
When are you going to realize that I do?
You guys fight over who's going to do it. You will tell him to go do it.
You don't even
he
live with
fell
us. How
out
do you
the
know
front
what's going
door.
on?
When I'm there, I see it. When I'm there, I come over all the time. I see that you tell
When
him to
you're
do
there,
something.
you come in, you hold the
asked him to
baby,
feed the
whatever.
baby.
You don't see what's
Can I
going
speak?
on.
You asked him to feed the baby the other day. He wouldn't feed the baby because there was corn in it, and he had to pick the corn out of the food. You need to be mad at him.
I do get mad at him because he does not help me, and that's what he should be doing.
You gonna get a job? I mean, what have I said today that's going to change what you do tomorrow?
Take whatever I can, I guess, because it's tired of living. I guess it's time to move on. Just like you say, gotta get out. Whatever you take, $8, no dollars. $8 is. I think I'd rather take $8.
Do you have any pride about this? I mean, because
what's there to be have pride about? Living underneath your in-laws' house? That's not pride.
Exactly the point. That's why I always tell parents that if you overindulge children at whatever age, you rob them of the sense of mastery, the pride that they have for getting out and standing on their own. You take that away from them. You need to get a job. You need to understand. You need to set a time. I'm not saying you should go home and throw them out in the sidewalk, but you need to give them 30-day notice, and you need to stick to it. If you let them live there, you're cheating them out of the chance to get their family started. Now, if that means that they have to leave and go live in a $5 a night motel or in the projects or whatever, then you keep the baby if you have to for a time, if that's your hot button. But if you don't get them out, they'll never go. They'll be there forever. And you don't deserve to be disrespected. You don't deserve to be talked down to. You don't deserve to be called dude and a bitch in your own house. And you don't deserve having to support two families. You need to get a job. And if he won't get a job, then put him out. Put him out. He needs to be out. That's the only thing, that's the only thing you can do. Necessity is the mother of invention. He will get hungry, and when he gets hungry, he will get a job. And seriously, I know you're saying, Dr. Phil, you can't support a family on $8 an hour. I understand that, but you got to start somewhere. And it means both of you need to work, then both of you need to work. I didn't choose for you to get pregnant and have this baby. They didn't choose for you to smuggle drugs into a prison and get fired and a felony conviction on your record. Y'all chose that, and when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. So get up and get a job and do it, and I'll help you. I'll help you find a job. I have some ideas, actually. I do, I have some ideas. But if I help to get you a job and then you don't show up or you're lazy, then it makes me look like an idiot. I got to know that if we help you get a job, you're going to work your butt off and try to get to the next level and next level and next level.
Of course.
Will you give them 30 days? 30 days notice.
You got your 30 days.
30 days notice. You're my cop, right?
I'm here. I'm policing it.
You're loving this. All right, next, we're going to find out why another young mom is so upset with the father of her baby. We're going to find out why he says he just can't keep a job. These guys are going to be in the audience listening. I'm going to ask them how it looks from the outside in. We'll be right back.
Greg refuses to work.
I wake up around noon, I sleep and hang out.
Greg, he's probably worked maybe a total of 6 months in the last 9 years.
I don't like mornings.
Why should I keep working hard and you reap the benefits?
My next guest, Brianne, has been with her boyfriend for 9 years. They have a baby together. But she says he's the biggest mooch she's ever met. He's never paid rent. It's so bad, she had to serve him papers to be evicted from her apartment. Now, he admits he's had between 50 and 75 jobs in the last 6 years. Now, Brianne's Aunt Terry says Greg is a lazy loser, and she's just sick of one excuse after another.
I have a big problem with Greg sponging his way through life off of me.
The relationship is not very functional. Brianne works very hard and Greg refuses to work.
I wake up around noon, I sleep and hang out, watch TV, play a couple video games. Pretty much my day consists of waiting for Brody to get out of daycare, just come home and play.
Yeah! Greg and I started seeing each other 9 years ago. It's been an up and downhill battle ever since then.
She supported him through the whole thing. He gets a job, he works for a couple days, and then that's it.
Greg, he's probably worked maybe a total of 6 months in the last 9 years.
I got ADHD, got morning problems. I don't like mornings. I dislike working.
I literally get the bills that I think maybe should be priority. The rest of them have to go in the garbage.
Vroom, vroom, vroom. I don't want Brody to grow up and think that men just lay around on the couch and sleep all day. I want him to know what a real man does.
I've been evicted from almost every apartment that I've had since I've been with Greg. We got evicted out of our last apartment, and I came here. He wasn't supposed to move in, and somehow he ended up weaseling in. I went ahead and got eviction papers, and he's actually supposed to be out in about 3 days.
I would like to see Brianne get rid of Greg completely and just build a life for herself and Brody.
I consider myself an intelligent person, and I'm extremely hardworking, but I'm starting to mimic his actions. He's mad, I'm getting mad, and when he wants to be lazy, fine, I'll be lazy too. Why should I keep working hard and you reap the benefits? Well, fine, we'll just both sit here and suffer and have nothing then.
Okay. May I ask, what the hell are you thinking? Are you kidding me?
I haven't done a lot of thinking.
But after you watch that, do you wonder if your mother dropped you on your head when you were a baby or something?
Maybe it was her.
I mean, this is ridiculous. What do you think about this, Aunt?
I cannot believe it's gone on for 9 years. When is she going to wake up and realize that it's not going to change?
Well, let's check his resume. This is the guy that you 50 to 75 jobs in 6 or 7 years. Worked maybe 6 months total out of 9 years. Sits around all day talking to babes on the internet and playing video games. Refuses to apply for jobs at places like McDonald's because he doesn't want to lose her job. Too proud to ride the bus since he lost his driver's license. And calls you a fat bitch. Now, if that's the resume of the old boy that you brought home, I would hate to meet those you turned down. What do you say about this?
Gotta fix my life, man. I don't understand. I'll do the right thing. I tried and tried.
Look, come on. You said that you actually got him out, and then he came back around with a girlfriend, and you got jealous.
Yes.
You got jealous, and so you took him back.
Yes.
Well, boy, that girlfriend dodged a bullet.
She did. If she's watching, I hope she thanks me.
He stalks you when you break up. You said that, Terry, you said he'll run her off the road and drive by and throw things at the house?
Yeah, every time they've broken up for some reason.
Have you run her off the road?
Never.
Never?
Never.
So you're actually raising him. You're paying his bills and he's staying at home, much like a teenager would. They were sitting home in summer. You know, he's playing video games and hanging around on the couch, and you're continuing to do this, and I want to know why, and I'm going to ask her that when we come back. We'll be right back.
I know for a fact that Greg has been unfaithful to me.
Yes, I've cheated on Brienne.
It was a day that we did get into an argument, and I told him to go be with somebody else. But when I say that, I mean go be with somebody else, go live with somebody else. Don't be my problem.
When Brienne was a youngster, she was very bright. I told her, "You've hooked up with this loser, and now you've become a loser." I'm disappointed in the way her life has turned out.
Well, Brienne says her boyfriend Greg has big dreams of becoming an auto mechanic, but he doesn't like to work, and he's just not morning people, and a lot of jobs want to start in the morning, which is a real obstacle if you're not a morning person. So he stays home all day playing on the computer. Now, Brienne is worried because they have a child together. But her Aunt Terry says, I don't care, dump him, get out, move, go, get out right now. That's your attitude, right?
Exactly. I don't want Greg to be the most influential person in Brody's life.
You don't have a car, you don't have a driver's license. So you stay home because you don't like to ride the bus because that's beneath you. So you're just pretty much home all day on the computer. Right. And you have, how's your child?
17 months.
17 months. But you have to put the child in daycare. Correct. Even though he's home all day.
Yes.
Because he doesn't want to take care of the baby?
He won't, I don't trust him to wake up in the morning. On days that I've been home from work, I can hear Brody, and I've kind of put little tests out there, and I'll stay in bed to see how long it takes Greg to get up, and he won't. He doesn't.
So you're too lazy to get up and take care of the baby?
No, and I get up and take care of my son.
I mean, you're not really making a contribution in terms of being a father and a husband and a provider and a protector and all the things that husbands and fathers do. You know, y'all are not married, but you share this child. You're not really doing a very good job of that, are you?
No, I'm not.
What are you getting out of this? I mean, do you think so little of yourself that you think if you don't hang on to what you got that nobody else will want you, particularly if you got a kid and then there you are and so you better take what you can get?
I think that could be a big part of it.
Yeah. I'd
rather have somebody there that'll at least always be there than maybe possibly not having somebody at all.
Get a dog. I mean, seriously, look, he needs help. There's no question about it. You're not proud of what you're doing, right?
No, not at all.
And the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. You are an intelligent, energetic young woman. You have lots to offer, but you don't recognize it. And so you're selling out. You're selling out. And, you know, why in the world you're raising him like a child?
Yes.
Aren't you getting tired of that?
I'm totally done, tired.
God, I mean, I've said 1,000,000 times, and I'll probably say 1,000,000 more times, I would rather be happy alone than sick with somebody else. You know, seriously. Get a dog, get a roommate. He's had 9 years to get this together. He's had 9 years of chances, that's over. You need to decide, I am going to stand up and understand that my loyalty is to my child. It's not to my own insecurities, and it's not to him. It's to my child. And I am a fiduciary for that child. I must put that child's interest above all else. And that means I should not be in a sick relationship. I should not allow myself to wallow in self-pity and a lack of esteem. I need to take care of my child's mother. I need to get myself together, and it starts with getting him out the door and keeping him out the door, getting yourself some professional help to understand what it is that you don't accept yourself and have enough respect and dignity to have some standards in your relationships. If you've got problems, we'll help you. We'll get you some resources where you can get a handle on those and fix them. But understand, the person that's picking up the tab for all of this is not just you, it's your child. And that child deserves better. We'll be right back. I'll get you some help. I really will. But you need to not do it. Okay, I have been very direct with you, right? And if you want to be in this relationship, you need to start by getting out of it, getting a job, holding it for a year, getting a savings account, getting your driver's license back, becoming a contributing member of society, and then and only then should you have anything to do with him. Your responsibility is to your child, and he will take from your child.
Yes.
He will take time, effort, energy, money, all that from the child. You need to get on your feet. You know that, right?
Yes.
And you know, and I said, I'll help you. I'll do what I can to help you get a job. 30-day notice, right? 30-day notice. Thanks for being here, DrPhil.com. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
You said Linda is a backstabbing bitch. I'm gonna kick her. 4 sisters go to full-scale war.
You're the liar.
Over a will worth $500,000.
Stop with the dramatics.
If you thought you had seen tempers flare on the Dr. Phil show, think again.
I took it to him.
But
did you ask her for a $30,000 advance?
has one sister crossed the line?
It's morally wrong. You just don't ask people for inheritance. Real embarrassed that this came out? Yeah. Oh, shut up.
One of you's lying. This bickering just needs to stop. Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go. Stand by, camera, set.
If you're going to talk to me, you're going to have to be honest.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
It's showtime. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by, A, and roll A. Check in. Go, Dr. Phil.
Here's a question for you. Do you have a family member that you just know will do everything they can to get your share of the money from your rich aunt, uncle, or even your parents when they pass away? Billionaire hotel owner Leona Helmsley just left $12 million to her dog and nothing to 2 of her grandchildren. The battle over entertainer James Brown estate has been going on for almost a year, with dozens claiming that he's their dad. If an inheritance is headed your way, listen up, because today we're talking to families fighting over the will. My first story involves 4 sisters fighting over their aunt's will. Now, there's Barbara and Carol against Linda, and then Pat, who says she's like Switzerland. She's just neutral in all this. Aunt Virginia's original will divided her estate 4 ways. Pat, Linda, and Barbara were each going to get $10,000, and Carol, the youngest, would get the remainder of the trust, approximately $400,000. But the will changed after Aunt Virginia went to live with Linda. The final will was split 6 ways. Barbara, Carol, Linda, and Pat would now each get $72,900, and so would Linda's 2 children. Now take a look at what the sisters have to say about all this deal.
There's 4 girls in the family. I'm Barbara. I live in New Jersey. Patty's in San Francisco. Linda is in Syracuse, and Carol lives in Florida. We're not speaking to each other.
The problem is my aunt passed away and the will was changed last minute towards my sister Linda's benefit.
Under my Aunt Virginia's original will, it was set up that 3 of the sisters would get a $10,000 trust, and the remainder of the estate would go to my younger sister, Carolyn.
Aunt Virginia, she just always took more of an interest in me than anybody else.
When Aunt Virginia decided to split up between 6 people, my children and my 3 sisters, myself, my children also got money. and that's the bone of contention.
I love all my sisters. The issue isn't the money, it's that one sister, Barbara, believes that Linda is a liar, a thief, that she coerced my aunt.
I don't have a deceitful or conniving bone in my body.
Linda started working on my Aunt Virginia to manipulate her. It wasn't fair the way she had written her original will, and perhaps it should include her kids.
According to Aunt Virginia, Carol had asked her for an advance on her inheritance of about $30,000. That's when Aunt Virginia changed her will.
I never asked Aunt Virginia for money. Linda made this lie up. Linda, she's a pathological liar. I can't imagine my sister Carol doing that. I hear what my sister Linda tells me. I'm trying to stay neutral.
Linda was always preoccupied what my younger sister Carol got from Aunt Virginia. I think in my gut, Linda wanted to even the score. When Aunt Virginia was no longer able to live on her own, Linda pushed very hard for her to move to Syracuse.
Linda said she could fix up her porch and my aunt could stay with her. So Aunt Virginia made the offer, I'll give you some money to fix up the porch. When there's money involved, Linda goes all out for her own benefit.
This is the room that the controversy is about. This was an enclosed porch and make a viable bedroom for Aunt Virginia. But as you can see, it's not the Taj Mahal.
It was just a coincidence to me that this was the one room that she had talked about for 10 years. She always wanted to upgrade, but it, costs a lot of money.
The bottom line to this is it's Aunt Virginia's money, and Aunt Virginia did with it as she saw fit. The woman cannot be manipulated.
So what are y'all most upset about?
Okay, the lying. She used me as an excuse, told everybody that I asked my aunt for an advance on my inheritance, which I would never do. I never asked her for
Linda
that.
said that was the basis of all these changes, was the fact that Carol had asked my aunt for her inheritance.
Just don't ask people for
let's
their
address
inheritance.
that.
Did you do that?
No.
You didn't ask her for a $30,000 advance?
No, never. It's morally wrong. You just don't ask people for inheritance.
Morally wrong, yes, but the liar here is not me.
Oh,
what
hell
happened
it
was,
ain't.
excuse me, I'm talking now. What happened was my aunt told me I have no reason to fabricate, nor would it occur to me to fabricate something like that. And I just said, that's what she asked for. I told Patty, I didn't tell everybody, I told Patty.
One of you's lying.
Right, I would be
and
embarrassed if it
Aunt
came
Virginia-
out that I asked my aunt for $30,000 on her deathbed.
So you think she's lying because...
Absolutely.
Why would you didn't do any of the other lies?
Which lies? Which lies?
Okay, the lies about, Aunt Virginia paid for the down payment on my house.
She told me that.
There was no down payment.
She told me that. She told me
she
she paid for the board on your horse. She told me numerous times that she's paid towards your rent, for your clothes, towards your
you even
medical
said
bills,
that
towards
she paid
all
for my
of your
schooling.
life. She
I'm still
supported
paying a
you.
school loan.
Why is this an issue? Who got
Well,
what?
it
What'd you wanna
doesn't
say?
matter. The
What'd you
point
wanna say?
is,
I don't understand what the difference is. Who cares
Well, let me
who got
finish.
what? Is anybody keeping score?
Well, you are,
apparently
because
so.
my kids
Everybody's
got
keeping
some of
score,
the
and it's
money.
added up to 72-9.
I have heard so many things that I cannot believe.
Good act, Barbara. Good act.
Yeah, well,
Where's the acting coming from?
Oh, I wonder, Carol.
Yeah.
Real embarrassed, aren't we?
No.
That this came out? Come on.
That's why I'm here. I want everybody to know you're the liar.
Guess what?
I don't have to guess.
Let me hear from Switzerland over here.
They're so opposed, and this fighting between Linda and Barbara has been going on all their life. It's very hurtful to me, and it's very upsetting because our family is very small, and we're all we have.
But you know that this has gotten to a point where it is fracturing this family.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have said that you believe that your sister Linda is greedy and dishonest.
Mm-hmm. Coming from somebody who queens in that.
You said that growing up, she was hanging out drinking with a motorcycle gang. You were listening to Mozart and playing a violin.
Yeah, we were like Oscar and Felix.
Oh,
really.
God, hanging out with a
Yeah.
What gang was that?
You said she pressed very hard to get Virginia to live with her.
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah,
I pressed her all her life. The woman was always at my house every Christmas. The woman bought us school clothes when we were kids. The woman bought my children school clothes. It's called reciprocating.
Do you believe that the will is forged? Or do you think she
believe that's a
manipulated
distinct-
her into changing it?
I think it's either or. I think that's
So you think the document could actually be forged?
Possibly.
Barbara's world.
Okay, well, you're in Dr. Phil's world now, and I'm going to have questions for everybody here. So does Barbara have a case against her sister? And is it a lie that Carol asked their aunt to advance on her inheritance to the tune of 30 grand? Now, wait till you hear what their mother has to say about all that. We'll be right back.
Listening to the bickering going back and forth was very disturbing. It's not about the money anymore. Now it's a battle of egos. I'm going to expose somebody.
Well, today we're talking to family members who are having a fight over the money, a fight over the will. Now, Barbara wrote in because she feels like her younger sister Carol was unfairly cut out of the family will. Now, Barbara says she cannot imagine why her aunt would change the trust unless it was their older sister Linda's doing. Now, Fran, Barbara's mom, says all this bickering between the girls just needs to stop.
The whole incident with Aunt Virginia's estate and listening to the bickering going back and forth was very disturbing. Barbara's so funny and she's so talented, but you could just turn around and reach for a glass of water, and when you turn back, she'll zap you with something terrible, and then it turns into turmoil. Linda took Aunt Virginia into her home to care for her. Linda gave this dying woman all the care you could give a dying person. So of course, I'm on the side of Linda. Barbara, I'm not even sure she visited Virginia even once. I'm going to expose somebody. Initially, Carol was getting most of the estate. She went to see Aunt Virginia and asked her for a loan on her inheritance. After that incident, Virginia redid her will and had it divided in 6 equal parts, including the 2 grandchildren. I think Aunt Virginia did right changing the will. She realized that divided evenly and there'll be no hassle. And it's still a hassle. It's not about the money anymore. Now it's a battle of egos. They all have their money. I don't understand why it isn't just left alone and everybody go about your business.
So your mother, with no first-hand knowledge, just by what she's been told, seems to think that you asked for an advance on the inheritance, upset your aunt, and she changed everything.
Well, I don't know.
Is that because Linda's programmed your mother to feel that way?
I haven't spoken to my mother at all about this. She's never even asked me about it. So she's only heard it from Linda. Right.
So you told her?
Sure.
Okay. Well, you know that she doesn't, Carol doesn't have a real high opinion of you right now.
Oh, she rarely had a high opinion of me. She gets her information from Barbara.
In fact, you said that
Sister, I know her. I'm sorry.
You said Linda stabbed you in the back when you realized that she was a liar. In fact, you said Linda is a backstabbing bitch that I never want to see again. She is an up, and I'm going to kick her ass.
Oh, that's immature.
Shaking.
Oh, hey, I'm scared.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Why would you say that about your
She
sister?
hurt me. She lied about the whole thing. She started
your information from?
No, it's just a whole series of lies. And just the initial lie about me asking for money. First of all, I don't need the money.
According to your other sister here, Barbara says that you are a sociopathic, fat bitch.
Right.
Now,
Yes.
seriously.
It's printed out and handed to him.
Oh, okay. We did a lot of angry emails back and forth.
I just have a question for anybody. Anybody miss Virginia?
Yes,
we do.
Yes.
I mean, we've interviewed all 4 of y'all, everybody, top, side, and bottom, every way possible.
I took care of her.
Ain't a one of you said anything about, hey, I'd give it all up if I could have my aunt back. I mean, is this all about the money, or do you miss your aunt?
I don't think it's about the money. I think it's an issue of these two hating each other forever. I said, you know, if my aunt changed her will, it was her business. It's her money, and she can do with it what she likes. I don't believe she was manipulated ever.
But you have to understand that it kind of fails the smell test from somebody just looking from the outside in. Okay. When she has a will that's been set a certain way for a long period of time, then she moves in with you, and then in a very short period of time, the will is changed, and your children are at it. So you have to understand that doesn't pass the smell. That can smell funny.
Okay, so do you want to know?
Did you take her to the lawyer?
No, I did not. She took herself.
Were you there with her when she was at the lawyer?
No, I was not.
She met alone and talked to the lawyer?
She went in one of those medical vans and her aide. The only thing that my husband gave her was the elder attorney that handled my mother-in-law's estate. She took it upon herself to call him, to take the I don't know what they call medical vans with the health aide.
We got you.
Yeah.
But you got her the lawyer.
She went there and I don't have any vested interest in this man.
She didn't get this lawyer out of the phone book. Y'all provided her. Y'all provided the information.
Right.
And she went and changed it. And all of a sudden, instead of passing the money on to her children, she all of a sudden included yours.
If they had children, it would have been split between their children as well. That's not, I never set out to do anything. I have told her all along, anytime you want to come live with us or in the area, if you feel the need to be near family, you're more than willing. She chose to move up by me, got sick, ended up in the hospital, ended up in a nursing home, wanted to get out of the nursing home. Where is she going to go? Barbara didn't offer, Carol didn't offer, Patty didn't offer. Well, you know what? Maybe she didn't want to go by you. So she came to my house.
Okay, let's take a break. Can Barbara and Linda see eye to eye, or is this just the latest round? I mean, is this ever going to get over? How do you resolve this sort of thing? And let me tell you, all of us have this in our future in some way. It's the cycle of life. We wind up where our parents get elderly and pass away, and we have decisions to make about all of that. So we're going to talk about what happens resolution-wise when we come back.
My first memory of Barbara is trying to push her head through the slats in the playpen.
My mother has called me a troublemaker and a shrew.
It was Mother's Day several years ago. I didn't even get a Mother's Day card. That hurt.
Well, today we're talking to people who are having a fight over the family will. Now, Barbara says that her Aunt Virginia's will was all set to be divided among the 4 sisters, with the youngest one getting the most. But when Aunt Virginia passed away, the will was split 6 ways to also include her sister Linda's 2 children. Now, Barbara thinks her sister must have influenced the aunt to change the will. Linda says this is typical Barbara, who always jumps the gun.
Patricia and I are very close. Linda and I are very close. Barbara and I are on and off.
My mother took alliances to Linda. My mother has called me a troublemaker and a shrew.
My first memory of Barbara is trying to push her head through the slats in the playpen.
The people in my family think of me as the big troublemaker.
It's not like you're a troublemaker, it's just you like to speak your piece and make everybody face reality. What's at the heart of this fight is Barbara hating Linda.
This is before Barbara could talk. See how I'm smiling?
In one of the emails that I remember the most, Barbara called Linda a sociopathic fat bitch.
Whenever Barbara had perceived somebody as being wrong in something, she would just not talk to them for a year or more. I've spent a couple of years with Barbara not talking to me.
Barbara and I didn't speak for 5 years. Why? To this day, I'm not really sure.
When Barbara and I aren't talking, it hurts me. It was Mother's Day several years ago. I didn't even get a Mother's Day card. That hurt.
Carol is the only one that hasn't received the wrath of Barbara.
It's like a bouncing ball. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. You know, I'm getting worn out. It's enough already.
Are you the troublemaker here?
Here, yeah, I'm definitely the pot stirrer, because I want some answers. I want to raise some questions. All I want to know is why. But in my family, if you raise questions, you're the troublemaker.
Without asking for the facts.
But see, you were out of this will that existed, you were going to get $10,000. You got $62,900 more than you were going to get if the old will was in place. So what's your beef?
I just want to know if there was an injustice done.
Injustice to who?
Probably injustice to Carol, and if my aunt was manipulated in any way, I think that's morally wrong. It just bothers me. The whole thing just stinks.
You got like a a 600–700% increase here.
Yeah.
In what you were going to get, so you made out financially better.
How often did you call your aunt? How often did you see her?
No,
once in the, no, twice. Once in the nursing home.
I'm not going to debate this. I don't think it's relevant.
But I mean, that's how concerned she is about the aunt.
Well,
she never visited.
Well,
never called.
actually,
in fact, the last call that was made was from her husband, who said, "Well, I guess."
Well, don't look at me. If you got something to say, say it.
I guess you're not going to see your niece Barbara ever again. Nice thing to tell a dying woman.
That's a lie.
No, I was standing there,
Oh,
Barbara.
my
It was
God.
on speaker.
Oh, my
she's
God.
so dramatic.
When I heard that,
my God.
Dramatic, God.
Oh,
Don't give anybody a
please.
chance to talk.
I can't,
shut up.
I can't believe
Oh,
the
you know what?
lies
Do the
for
quiet one.
herself.
Shut up.
All right, now, wait,
And
all
when
right.
Aunt Virginia was
What is it about the kettle that you think is so dramatic?
If she would base her situation, her questions and everything on any kind of fact, she would have an inkling as to what went on.
Does anybody agree on anything here? You heard
I
her
was in the
husband
room.
say you're
Yes,
never going to see her again. You're
because my
standing on the
aunt
speaker
is
box.
hard of hearing, and she had it on speaker.
Okay, so you heard it.
You're never going to see
Were
her
you
niece
there?
again.
I was standing there when Tim found out he was fired as executor. I'm pretty sure this is the conversation.
No, it was
and
after
so my
that.
husband said to Virginia, "You realize I can't help you anymore.
Oh,
I'm not
stop with the
executor.
martyrdom.
There's nothing more I can do, Aunt Virginia." And that's when she just said, "Don't worry, everything will be all right."
Yeah, but that's not the conversation I was talking about. The conversation was later on.
Do you care about your sister?
I do.
Do you care about her? I mean, y'all talk about each other like you just absolutely hate each other.
Well, I think we hate each other now.
No, I just hate the situation.
We
I don't
just
hate
finally
you.
got back on track. and-
Yeah.
Why do you have such angst about her? I mean, you were supposedly...
It's about the lies. It's all about the lies. The fact that she lied, I feel like I've been deceived,
Another one
backstabbed.
that never, I can't say never.
Talk
Called
to
her
Dan,
three or
talk to
twice. Three or four times she called her, came down twice. And
I live
other
in
than that,
Florida.
didn't
She's
call
up
her
in
weekly.
Syracuse, New
She
York.
pays for your airfare.
Yeah, like I can take off work every week.
How about Friday night to Sunday? She's paying for the airfare.
Boy, I'm just wondering how I can wangle an invite to Thanksgiving at their house. I mean, this is... All right, next we're going to talk about why an estate attorney says changing wills is what he calls the perfect crime. We'll be right back. I've been talking to four sisters, actually listening to four sisters, fighting over the family will. Barbara says that her Aunt Virginia's will got changed before her death. She says once her aunt moved near her sister Linda, the money flowed freely in Linda's direction. Now, the two sisters haven't spoken in months. Now, Scott Schomer is a Los Angeles-based attorney who deals with probate, wills, trust, conservatorships in his daily practice. He says there were some ways that Linda could have really safeguarded herself against these allegations. Why do you call it the perfect crime, Scott?
It's because Aunt Virginia's not with us anymore. She's not here anymore to defend herself. All we have is a document and a set of circumstances. It's easy to cast aspersions at somebody. In Linda's defense, it's not unnatural for people to feel a lot of, thankfulness to people that have helped them through hard times. So in many ways, this is not unusual. But on the other hand, if she's the only one that has access to the elderly person, Aunt Virginia, that's the problem.
Well, for example, this will, as I understand it, or some of the ancillary instruments at least, said that if there were transactions over $1,000 that they had to be approved.
No. For power of attorney.
And you wrote 13 checks just under $1,000.
There weren't 13.
Well, actually, there were 13 checks.
Oh, okay. So maybe there were.
Just under $1,000.
Can I tell you why?
That's what I'm trying to get to, rather than the seminar.
The power of attorney isn't invoked unless she's declared incompetent. She was never declared incompetent. When I asked her,
didn't you
how
say
do
you
want me
wrote
to handle?
13 checks just under $1,000 so you didn't activate the process?
No, so I didn't have to put up with his arguing.
Isn't that what I just said?
In different words, I guess. I didn't want to have. He said I had to ask permission.
You're talking around this. I'm just, and I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying you did anything wrong. I don't know. There was a $1,000 cutoff. If you wrote a check over $1,000, it was subject to review.
Right.
And then you started to give me a legal seminar about why that wasn't a fact. But I mean, common sense, that's basically what it said. You wrote 13 checks in the final, not the hours, but in the end of her life.
No,
you
I
wrote
wrote them building the room that she was
You wrote 13 checks just under $1,000. And you said to our producers, you said, I stopped short of the $1,000, I'd break it up so I didn't have to deal with it.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that just seems to me manipulative. I don't know. I mean, call me silly, but it just seems like that's
my aunt
less
had
than
a
genuine.
short period of time in which to get out of there. She wanted to get out of there, and we had to do it in 4 to 6 weeks.
Does that pass the smell test, Scott?
It does not, Dr. Phil. I think you're absolutely right. There's a reason they put these standards in here, and she's obviously working on a way to get around it.
Isn't the bottom line here that you say this is perfect crime because it's just probably not much these guys can do about this if they think something went wrong?
I think that's correct, Dr. Phil.
You never know. You can go file papers, and you can take it to court, but bottom line, there's probably not a hell of a lot you can do about this.
No,
if you think something's been done wrong about it. The question becomes, I mean, can I resolve the money matter here? No. I don't know. Would you sell your sister for $72,900?
No.
I mean, come on. You guys, I'm one of those people that kind of does believe in karma. And I don't know. I hear people fighting over money, and I just get this visual in my head of vultures picking a carcass. And I go, it's just really distasteful to me. Your aunt lived her life. She did what she did. The money has been distributed. Everybody benefited in a windfall fashion. Isn't there some point at which you say, you know what, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to cheapen myself by spending the rest of my life being bitter towards my sister over some money that's gone. I mean, it's just...
Not in this family.
But Dr. Phil, it's not about the money. Between me and Linda, it's not about the money.
We always got along until then. Until it was the money.
You can't even agree on why you currently hate each other. And what I'm saying is, look, family is family. And, money comes and money goes. You can get more money. You didn't have any entitlement to any of this money anyway. This is a total windfall. Somebody lived their life, they worked, they saved, and then they died before they could spend it all. And now, So I mean, what difference does it make? Can't you just put that behind you and decide, okay, look, I'm going to try to do something to take the high ground here. I'm going to try to be, this situation, like so many I deal with, needs a hero. It needs a hero. It needs somebody to stand up and say, you know what? I'm not going to react. You can call each other names and drama queens and manipulators and stuff, but the point is, life is too short, and you guys are going to miss so much fighting over this money. You've said really ugly things about your sister. You've said really ugly things about your sister. And you're just kind of there going, I don't want to hear it. At this point, I think you've got the best strategy of the whole thing. I'm serious. You're saying, I'm not going to go there. The money will be gone soon if it's not already. You'll spend it, it'll be absorbed by life, and you'll be right back where you were before you got this windfall. But will you have the relationship with each other? And I wish you would. I hope you do.
How do you get past the hurt
it's a
and
choice.
the lies? And,
it's a choice. It's a choice. I mean, it absolutely, I can talk to you about it till I'm blue in the face, but it's a choice. You just have to decide, I'm not going to put my energy there. I'm going to decide to let this go. It's your choice. You can embrace it. You can become a prisoner of bitterness and resentment and anger and victim city, or you can just say, I'm going to live my life and be happy, and I'm going to wish everybody in my family well. It's a choice, and adults can make those choices. Just think about it. All right, coming up, they got a big inheritance, but now they feel like they're being followed by a black cloud. You're going to find out what happened with this situation after they got the money. We're going to talk about that when we come back. I have nothing to do with that.
We had over $100,000, and then we blew the money. We bought 5 cars,
home furnishings,
flat screen TV,
iPods. We took the kids to Florida.
Now we live paycheck to paycheck every week.
Today we're talking about families fighting because of an inheritance. Now Sandra says she and her husband Patrick started fighting about money since, by their description, they blew his over $100,000 inheritance in less than a year. Take a look.
Patrick's father, when he passed away, we inherited his log home.
That log cabin that my dad built with his own hands was my dad's dream house.
We were unable to finance the remaining mortgage, so we ended up selling the property. That's caused a big conflict between us.
I just kicked myself. He worked his butt off and he built that house, and I go sell it for over $100,000, and then we blow the money.
When we had all that money in the bank, we went a little bit crazy.
We bought 5 cars. I bought a GM truck. I traded that in for the brand new Dodge. I didn't keep that truck either.
I bought a Dodge Durango. We bought a vehicle for our daughter.
About a week after we bought it, she crashes. And then we bought her another Dodge.
Home furnishings. I found out I was pregnant with our son Jake. He had the nursery that every kid's dreamed of.
Flat screen TV.
iPods. We put $20,000 down on the house that we ultimately don't have now. We took the kids to Florida. We were worried about money again about 9 months later. Patrick feels guilty. He thinks his dad's looking down on us and that now we have like a black cloud over us, like we have bad luck.
We live paycheck to paycheck every week. This is to be our second bankruptcy. And a lot of that money could have been used to help my daughter go through college. Me and my wife argue every day about money.
I don't want to hear about it all the time for the rest of my life. I know we don't have money.
She don't want to be around me. A couple times she said she'd like to divorce me.
I'm sick of the kids having to deal with it. That's why I threatened to divorce him.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get my life back together and maybe make my wife happy again.
I wouldn't care if I were in a cardboard box in the corner as long as everybody was healthy and alive and I didn't have to hear about the house anymore.
So why did you do it? I mean, did you guys, why did you do it? Why at the time did you not go, you know what? This is not going to last forever and we need to be responsible and conservative here? Because you describe it like you were spending money like drunken sailors on shore leave. Did a voice inside your head ever say, whoa, shut down here?
Well, what happened was we talked when we got the house and everything, and we tried to get it financed for I don't know how many people, at least 5 or 6 mortgage companies, and then we sat down and talked since we couldn't get it financed, you know, because he only owned like $70,000 left on it, and nobody still would finance because of our credit, and so then we decided to put it on the market and sell it, and then we talked about after, you know, when we do get the money to sell in the house, what we were going to do with it. You know, like put a lot of it away for our daughter's colleges.
But you went and bought $50,000 worth of cars, right? Yeah. I mean, was nothing ever said, whoa, stop?
Yes, we talked about, I tried to get cars that were more reasonable and not blow the money on getting the dream car that he's always dreamed of, and we fought about that at the time. We fought about, I ended up trading down on my car because I felt so guilty about spending that kind of money on a vehicle, and we knew we had a baby on the way.
How does this lead to talking about divorce?
Well, it's to the point where I'm sick of fighting about it anymore. I'm ready to...
But it's over, it's done, it's gone. I mean, it's like you want to debate the election the day after it's held?
Exactly. It's been drug into the ground I don't know how many times. I'm sick. He's like a broken record. Every time something comes up where money is involved, well, if we hadn't done this or that with the money that we had, well, we don't have that money anymore. It's gone.
But you're not mad at her about it, you're mad at yourself.
No, how I felt,
yeah, he
I think
himself up,
how it started out is I didn't want to even think about selling the log cabin. And because it seemed like to me, my wife and my 2 kids at the time and my daughters weren't happy out there at all, out in the country. And I didn't want to see that. And so that was...
Pat wasn't doing any of the work involved in trying to finance the house, trying to get the mortgage with the credit, the way our credit was. Hauling the kids 40 miles each way back and forth to school and work. I was working in a job 40 miles away that I had been at for 10 years. And I didn't want to leave my job. And
So you were having to do an 80-mile round trip every day. Okay, look, this, I mean, the sisters I was talking to before kept saying, it's not about the money, it's not about the money, it's not about the money. I have said a million times, you don't solve money problems with money. You don't solve money conflict with money. That's just not how it works. And if you walk around feeling you got a black cloud over your head, it's your job to move it. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
A couple of years ago, we lost my grandpa's house. We had to sell it because we are having financial problems. I've heard my parents fighting about it a lot lately.
Like my dad won't get over the fact that we sold the house, and he kind of resents my mom for it.
Right now I'm living on campus because I kind of wanted to get out of the house. I try to avoid coming over to avoid fights. It's really hard to get loans for college because of our financial situation. This semester is almost paid for. I don't know what I'm going to do next semester.
I wish I had $1 million. I would help them.
Well, Patrick and his wife constantly fight about money. You can see the kids have a big reaction to it. Sandra says it's only gotten worse since they wasted an inheritance on 5 new cars, a new TV, furniture. Now they only have 1 car to show for it, can't afford to pay for their daughter's college tuition. She says her husband just keeps on dwelling in the past. You know, your daughter just said, I wish I had $1 million because I'd just go make it right. That wouldn't make it right. Because you feel like you were really stupid, right?
Yes, I do.
And it is really hard to take stupid back.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's hard to take stupid back. You can't unring the bell. The money's gone. And the question now is, what are you going to do about it? You clearly are depressed about this. And on the one hand, I feel for you because I know that when something like that happens, you feel really bad about it. But it's over. It's over. And here's the deal. This is what I always try to get people to understand. When you do something like that, that you really think was stupid, you think was bad decisions, irresponsible, whatever, however you want to label it, however you want to call it, and it just happens and then you suffer it, then that's penalty. But if you learn from it, it becomes tuition. She's talking about her tuition. You paid $100,000 for an education that ought to fix you for the rest of your life in terms of money responsibility. That's a $100,000 education you got, because I suspect the next time you get in a position of having a little discretionary income, I suspect there's not going to be a big truck rolling up out front and a boat and a bunch of toys and that sort of thing. So if you learn from it, then it's tuition. If you don't, it's just penalty. Don't let this be penalty. Let this be an education. Let this be tuition. But you know what would be really tragic? Look, money is the most replaceable commodity you'll ever have. You cannot replace a year spent depressed. You cannot replace a year with distance with your daughters. You can't replace your daughters saying, I'm glad to be living on campus because I don't want to go around there because those people whine all the time. That's what they're telling you. So the worst thing would be, the cost right now is not $100,000, it's $100,000 plus peace of mind, relationship with your wife, relationship with your daughter. You said you can't take back stupid. You're still doing those things. Stop it now. Stop the bleeding. It's over.
I worry about money all the time, and I think that's where a lot of our fights come.
But stop worrying about it and start managing it. You know, worrying's like rocking. It's something to do, but you don't go anywhere. Don't worry about it. Learn about it. I mean, set up a budget. Get a plan you can both be excited about. Be partners in this. Sit down with your daughters. What do we need to do here? Guys, you got next semester coming up. Let's look at student loans. Let's figure out whatever we have to do. You get a part-time job, get a student loan, do whatever. Come up with plans.
I am working 2 jobs.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah. And the rest of the time you're busy being depressed and kicking your own ass. Yeah. Right? Yes, and I'm telling you, the cost is not the 100. The cost is what it's doing to your life. You can stop the bleeding right now. You've got to make that choice. You're driving her crazy, right?
Yeah.
Not that you look crazy, I'm just saying, he's driving you crazy.
Sometimes I feel crazy.
You've got to give yourself permission to say, bad chapter, that's over. How old are you?
I'm 41, I'm sorry.
Okay, you got another 40 years to live. How much fun you think you are to live with right now? God, I'd rather get a root canal than sit down and talk. Really, give yourself a pass. It was dumb. It's over when you say it's over. We'll be right back. You know, Patrick, when I said that I think you're depressed over this, I think that's a reactive depression that we sometimes do when things happen in our lives. And I think you would really benefit from some help to unravel that. It's over your head, and I think you need to sit down and talk about some of those things and then be proactive and come up with a plan, both financially, family-wise, and emotionally going forward. And I'd like to make some resources available to you to pursue that. If I do that, will you avail yourself of it?
Sure will.
Okay, that's what I want to know. All right. All right, this season, DrPhil.com has a brand new look. If you have a will story, if you have a family story that you want to share, go to the homepage, click on Be on Dr. Phil, and then click on the topic you want, such as fighting over a family will. Share your story. We all can relate because we all know it's in our future some way or another. Thanks for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
Many of you may be shocked and appalled by what you're about to see.
He's got his wife and 7 kids living in a shambles.
Those kids don't know a train wreck is coming.
No heat, no running water, no job.
They live like a cult.
And he insists it's God's will.
The Lord, He's directing my path.
He's directing you away from getting a job.
I 100% believe that.
Let me tell you something. Your kids don't like it. I lived in a house with no utilities, no furniture, freezing my butt off.
God told me.
I so totally disagree with what you're saying and doing.
But wait until you hear what he's doing now in the name of divinity.
Your children are suffering because of this man.
I'm not sure I get this. Do you really think that the Lord would lead you to break the law? Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6.
If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by A and roll A. Check it.
Go, Dr. Phil.
Today we are talking about a family who believes that their religion is responsible for their lifestyle. They have no heat, no running water, no jobs. We're not talking about Amish here. They just have chosen to do this. They say it's God's will. And when does too much or too little cross the line in terms of, as parents, how you provide for your children and your family? What happens when the parents' agenda becomes so extreme that the kids are forced to live a harsh and stoic existence? Now, our story is about Dan, Jana, and their 7 kids, ages 14 to 2 weeks. I'm going to tell you, many of you may be shocked and appalled by what you're about to see. Take a look.
Dan and I have been married for 15 years, and we have 7 children. Destiny, she's 14, Jedediah is 13, Tehila is 11, Jubilee is 9, Jericho 7, Mercy is 4, and Zakira is 1 week.
The water's been shut off, the gas has been shut off, and this house is in foreclosure because I don't have a job. Let's pray now.
Dan and I both have college degrees. Mine is in communications, his is in business administration.
People that know me call me a workaholic. I prefer to work for myself. Working for someone else is the easy way out. You just show up to work, and whether you're picking your nose or writing something down, you're getting paid. In every business that I started, any job I applied for, the Lord was leading my path. In 1988, I started up an acrylic shop. In 2001, I declared bankruptcy. We moved to Hawaii to collect tropical fish. Then I started working with my father-in-law in Georgia. He fired me. In 2006, I sent out 3 resumes and called 10 pet shops, but didn't get a response. Most recently, I had come across red light photo blocker. You can spray onto your license plate, and if you accidentally went through the red light, it overexposed the film and they can't send you a ticket. I thought I was led by the Lord to do this business, but so far I've only sold 2 cans.
As a result of the situation that we're in right now, our heat was turned off in August. Our water was turned off a few days ago.
My mortgage is $800 a month, and I'm 5 months behind. So if I don't come up with that money plus lawyer's fees, we will be kicked out of the house. I've always believed that the Lord will come through and the mortgage will be paid. The situation right now is very livable. I got you. I don't always need to rely on money. I can rely on my resources, what I have, what I can work with to get things done. The heat got shut off, we used the fireplace. The water got shut off, we needed to flush the toilets. Well, I've already saved over 7,000 gallons of rainwater. I plugged that drain over there so the water couldn't escape that way. And this acts as a waterfall and fills this up. It hasn't rained very much lately, so it is a little bit low. Well, I bring water in, and we've been able to go shower somewhere else.
The lifestyle that we are living has been hard, I'll admit. I'm actually very grateful for these last few months. The things that we've been through have built my character, but I don't want to go through it anymore. It's old. I'm tired of it.
You say you can do this using your resources, but why do it using your resources? Why not just get a job and provide for your family?
Well, I don't think it's as, simple as that, as in I am not unwilling to go get a job. And in fact, when I have put out resumes to get a job, there's been, one time where I did, but mostly it seems like I'm led in a different direction without responses from, being able to get a job. So then I've taken that as, leading the Lord what I should do. I'm taking steps and He's directing my path.
He's directing you away from getting a job to provide for your family?
I believe that the Lord, the Bible says that He puts the desire in your heart and then brings it to fulfillment.
What do you think about that?
For the most part, I stand by my husband 100% as far as that goes. We've been sustained this far, and I know he feels that he doesn't feel led to open another business at this point in time, so he is looking for work.
Well, I'm not sure I get this. You don't feel led to work?
No, there's nothing about not working. If we go back just a little bit, that in 1988, I opened up a business and I ran that till 2001. And during that time, I opened 2 other businesses.
Well, let's fast forward into this century, though. Let's talk about 2007.
Well, what I feel is led up to 2007 is I was at a revival. And I felt that I was a good Christian. My successes, other people call failures.
Well, yeah, I do call them failures. You had an acrylic saltwater creations.
Yeah, acrylic creations and saltwater creations, Minnesota. And I also bought homes, fixed them up, and sold them or rented them out.
Okay, but that wound up in a lawsuit, and you folded the business. You decided to be a PGA golfer?
If the Lord puts it on your heart to be whatever you're going to be, then I don't know why you don't want to try and do it.
Well, are you a golfer?
I have probably not seriously golfed since, before 2000.
You had a zero-down real estate business, a praise band, a Molokai fishing business in Hawaii, construction, and then this red light photo blocker. You thought the Lord led you to do that?
What you're witnessing is a man with maybe not financial blessings that has always happened, but the Lord promises other blessings in it.
I'm trying to get to the bottom of this, really. 'Cause, I mean, you came here and you wanted my opinion, right? So I got to ask you some questions, because I hear you saying things about the Lord and the way in which you're being led, and you must be reading a different scripture than I'm reading. I don't.
Are you supposed to trust the Lord with all your heart and all your might and not lean on your own understanding?
What you're not supposed to do is pick and choose from the Bible as though it's a buffet to support the things that particularly are your agenda at the time. Now, that's not what the Bible says.
I 100% agree with that.
That is not what the Bible says, and it is not right to cherry pick and come up with things that support not working.
In fact, I agree that it has nothing to do with not working. I've never not had a job. Then go back and list your things and tell me which month it was that I didn't have a job. I had a job.
No, you don't have a
job. The complaint is that I'm not making the money that other people that I think that I should be making.
You're going to have to let me ask some questions. You can't filibuster with me, because I'm going to stop you and ask you questions. So if you're trying to filibuster so I can't ask you questions.
So it doesn't look like, of course I'm going to look like a fool in the world's eyes, but
No,
if I explain everything, then it all comes together. I'm not against work. I work all the time.
I'm going to ask the question. I mean, you can ramble all you want, but I'm going to ask the question. You're talking about the Lord. You said the Lord led you to the license plate blocker. You felt led to do that.
Do you want to know why?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I'm just confirming that that's what you said.
100%.
Okay.
I believe that.
Now, my question is, do you really think that the Lord would lead you to do something that helps people break the law and escape accountability in good public policy, and allows people to break the laws of man and put other people's lives in jeopardy? Do you really think that's something?
Did you want to go research and find out what the deal is? The red light photo lights are all about money. And the whole statistics in my county alone, they made $3.5 million in less than a year.
Look, call me crazy, but if there's somebody out there running red lights, I'd kind of like them to get tagged for it, so they'd stop. Okay, we have to take a break, and then we'll hear some more about this. We're also going to talk to Jana's parents, why they say Dan and Jana are living in what they say is cult-like conditions, and they're worried about the health of their grandchildren. We'll be right back.
Jana should be kicking him in the butt, telling him to go out and get a job so he can support his children.
We care about them, but we're not going to take care of them the rest of their lives. They're adults. When does it stop?
We asked Jana and Dan why they wanted to homeschool the kids, and I don't feel ever really got a good answer. One thing that worries me is they live now almost like a mini cult without any external influence.
I stand by Dan no matter what.
I believe that he controls her.
Okay, we're back with Dan and Jana. They have 7 children, aged 14 to 2 weeks. Their house is on the brink of foreclosure. They're living with no running water and no gas. We've been talking about, my simple question was, why not get a job? Dan's answer is, I'm working very hard. It just hasn't paid off yet, but I really feel like I'm listening to the Lord and telling me what to do. Now, Carol and Rich are Jana's mom and stepdad. been married 29 years, and they have given Dan and Jana thousands and thousands of dollars.
My biggest concern with Jan and Dan is that they are not going to face up to reality. I want to take them and shake them and say, wake up. There's a train wreck heading your way and you're not even doing anything about it. They think they're going to make it big, and they take risks that one does not take when you have a lot of children. They have done that one time after the other after the other.
And it's the same story for 15 years.
They do things without checking it out well first. She should be kicking him in the butt, telling him to go out and get a job so he can support his children.
We care about them, but we're not going to take care of them the rest of their lives. They're adults, 42 and almost 40. They've got kids ranging from 8 days to 14 years. When does it stop?
I got you.
Rich and I have given Jana and Dan thousands and thousands of dollars. You help them up to a place where they're then hopefully able to survive, but that hasn't happened.
Wealth is worthless in the day of wrath.
Dan has told us that it's more blessed to give than to receive. And our feeling is, well, how would you know that? What we want them to do is change the way that they're doing things and grow up, get a job, and support their family. Just been boom, 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 one child after another. And I just become so angry because how can you bring 6 or 7 children in this world and then not support them?
Children seem to be hungry. Jan and Dan don't seem to be worried about it. They say they've never missed a meal. My question is, are they getting enough of the proper food? And my heart tells me no.
If those children were taken away from my daughter, it would rip her heart out.
Those kids don't know a train wreck is coming. And it's not their fault. I'm sorry.
Amen.
You're worried about the children.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And you didn't know about the water.
No.
No, the water's been since
So that's something new.
the last few days.
Jana, are they wrong to be worried about your children?
Wrong to be worried about my kids. I think my kids they're really doing great. They really are. I mean, from the outside perspective, you don't get involved in our life. You don't come in ever to our home. You don't see what's going on. You don't know how the kids are doing, and you judge us from a distance.
Kids are very happy kids, and they're great. They just don't realize that they're having to live in a way that children should not have to live.
We are taking steps to change that. But what is not seen is all the things that have led up to this point. Yes, mistakes have been made.
You've said that you're tired of this yourself, that you want some relief. You really want.
Exactly. I am tired of it. I am grateful for the times and the things that we have gone through these last few months because it has drawn me closer to my kids. It's drawn me closer to my husband.
That doesn't mean that you maybe haven't developed some character or values or focus along the way. There's been a lot of things in my life that, as my dad used to say, I wouldn't take $1 million for it, but I wouldn't give you a dime to do it again. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm kind of glad that I got through that. Isn't that kind of where you are
what I'm saying, yeah.
at this point? Mm-hmm. But let me tell you something. I do have a bone to pick with you. I do disagree with you. I don't think you have the right to do what you're doing. And I think you're misguided in your reliance on the Scripture and the Bible. I just disagree with that, and I'm just going to tell you that. Doesn't mean I'm right, but I'm going to tell you that. And you know, I've been through this, because I want to tell you something. I've been exactly, precisely where your children are right now. I lived in a house with no utilities, no gas, no electricity, in the winter, freezing my butt off, no furniture, sleeping on the floor. And it was an upgrade from where we were before that. So I've been there, and let me tell you something. Your kids don't like it. It's not a good, healthy thing for them. I've done it. I've been there. I know. And because you decide you want to run this agenda, and I'm wondering, have you had clergy counsel you about this?
Have I talked to pastors and other people?
And said, here's my thinking, this is my reasoning, and here's what I'm doing.
See, I'm distracted by the way this is all slanted, because in 1988, I grossed over $1 million a year with Acrylic Creations of Minnesota. I'm the guy that made up the Nordic Track book holder. I've done many great things.
I don't know how much revenue you grossed with Acrylic Creations, but I know that my daughter has always lived like a pauper.
Look, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the question is, where are Dan and Jen and their 7 kids going in just 2 weeks when they're forced out of their home? Is there a plan for that? You think God will provide in some way? And I want to know what your thoughts are about that when we come back.
Over the years, there was a lot of shame. When you're living poor, you are judged, you're looked down upon, you're thought less of because you don't have the money. Money talks, and if you have it, you're respected, and if you don't, you're not. It's been a long road, and I had no idea that it was gonna last this long. And I'd always tell my kids, it's gonna be great, next year's gonna be great. Next year would come and be the same.
Jana's parents hate me and they think I'm dumb. I don't think they think I could string together 2 intelligible sentences.
Dan has tried to do many different things and never really was successful at any of them.
They don't think I know how to run a business, and I do. All Jana's parents see in me is the mistakes I've made.
Well, I'm here with Jana and Dan. They have 7 kids. They're about to lose their home to foreclosure. Neither of them have jobs at this point, even though they both have college degrees. Carol, Jana's mom, and Rich, Jana's stepdad, really are learning some things today that the situation is worse than they thought. As of 2 weeks ago, there's no water in the house. They've had no gas since August. And we've been talking about some philosophy and theory here, and I've got a question about that. But you have both said that this whole situation is slanted. That's the word you used and you used. Mm-hmm. So unslant it for us.
When you guys called or you emailed us and said that you called DrPhil, our first initial reaction is, no way, we're not going to do this, because it will be slanted, and everyone will be against us, and even DrPhil.
It's not a matter about I'm not for or against you. I so totally disagree with what you're saying and doing. In fact, I actually find it offensive to my sensibilities because of what you're saying about the scripture in the Bible. My home has been a God-centered home from day one, and it's offensive to me to hear the things that you're saying, because that ain't what the Bible says. That's not what the scripture says. I didn't want to rely on me because I don't consider myself a Bible scholar, but Pastor Aaron James is here, and I asked him to come. He is from the Dream Center, and let me tell you, the Dream Center, which I've been involved with for the last several years, is an unbelievable organization. They house like 500 people that are really fleeing from drugs and gangs and prostitutions, homeless people. They feed 30,000 people each week. There's been a homicide drop of 73% in their area of LA as a result of their different outreaches. Amazing organization. You didn't ask me to say any of that. I just asked you to come to talk about this. I'm saying that he is misguided in his understanding of this. I think he's sincere. I think this is a very nice, intelligent, well-intended guy. I just think you are so desperately misguided. And I think you confuse activity with productivity. Activity is like, you can kind of run in place, but you're not really getting anywhere. And at some point, I think you got to say, I do have dreams, I do want to pursue them, but while I'm doing it, I need to work and take care of and provide for my family. Ben Franklin, Thomas Edison, they all had jobs while they were inventors, but they still had jobs to keep the wolf from the door. What do you say about this, Pastor?
Well, Dan, as a pastor, I tell you, my heart really feels for you. I really understand your situation. I'm hearing what you're saying today. You have been wronged. People have done you wrong. You have made choices that have put you in a really hard situation for you and your family, and it's a very difficult situation to be in. But the problem that I'm struggling with, and what really is breaking my heart, is it seems to me like you're saying that God will provide, but you're also blaming God at the same time, because you're saying that the situation you're in must be God bringing you through a trial, as opposed to simply we live in a world where people do us wrong, we make bad choices, and the way you're trying to cope with this situation is you're saying, well, this must be what God is leading me to do. But what I don't understand is why God would lead someone to live in complete contradiction with His Word. And I understand what it means for God to provide.
I don't feel that anybody's heard the whole, the story or what even is the situation from the beginning.
And I understand God does build our faith for trials. We thank God for every broken bone. We thank God for every situation we go through. But that doesn't mean that it was always God's choice for us. Sometimes the situations we go through are our own choice.
Hold your response. We got to take a break. When we come back, I'll let you respond to what he had to say. And then I got some specific questions for everybody here. I am on the side of the kids here. I don't really care who's right, who's wrong. It's not about that. It's about the kids. Jana's mom says Dan is trying to control Jana, but Jana says it's not Dan. It's her mother who's the one that's trying to control. We'll talk about all that and hear more from Pastor James when we come back.
My mom is controlling and she judges us, but she doesn't know all the facts.
They are living in a house with cement floors. They don't have heat. It's an intolerable situation.
Well, I'm here with Jana and Dan. We're talking about their life situation. They didn't write in. Mom wrote in. Mom and stepdad are very concerned. Jana and Carol just don't seem to get along. Jana thinks her mom is too controlling. Take a look.
My mom doesn't like Dan at all, because in her mind, Dan doesn't provide for his family.
If I were in Jana's place, I wouldn't put up with it. I would have left him long ago.
I see my mom as controlling and she judges us, but she doesn't know all the facts. She believes she knows everything, and we basically don't have a clue.
They are living in a house with cement floors. They don't have heat. They don't have hot water. It's an intolerable situation, in my opinion.
I don't know what the issue is with my mom and my children. The first time I was pregnant, I was very excited about it. She said she wasn't very happy. And by the second or third child, we got letters. You got to get your tubes tied, don't have any more kids, big mistake.
I have offered to pay for a vasectomy for Dan, and it sounded like I was expecting him to get butchered, not to have a simple vasectomy. But I think what really lies underneath is, if it's God's will for us to have another child, we will.
I've hardened myself to it. When I really think about it, just like now, it does make me feel really sad and, want to cry. And I don't want to cry.
It just didn't make any sense to me how someone could live the way she has to live and really love this other person.
I would like my mother to acknowledge that, hey, wow, my daughter's been through a lot. But it's always, you have too many kids, you guys are struggling, you must be idiots.
How on earth could somebody like that survive with so many children? I don't know how they do it.
Is she just crossing the boundary? Is she getting where she doesn't belong?
The hurtful part, I guess, is the controlling issue because, well, more than that. I guess over the years since we got married, I've gotten hurtful letter after hurtful letter, but never any words of, atta girl. You said it at the end of your tape right there. You said, I don't know how they do it. I would think maybe a little pat on the back while you've gone through all this and you're holding up well, and the fact that you said you would have left my husband years ago, well, there's no way, because my faith and everything that goes along with that, I wouldn't leave
I wouldn't leave Dan. When things go hard, that's not when you always bail out. You go through the hard times.
It seems to me that a mother's first line of duty is to her children. And your children are suffering because of this man.
There's no suffering. How could you know when you never come over, we never talk, when we've never had 1 hour of meaningful conversation the time we've known each other?
We have, Dr.
Just
Phil.
to say, 2001, you came to my house and said, hey, do all these things and we'll give you some money to do it. I said, no, thank you. I don't want your money.
You say you won't take their money, but haven't y'all given them over $50,000?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Haven't you basically
We paid
paid your retirement to them?
In 2003, we paid your entire rent from January through the following January.
You said at the end of your tape piece, I don't know how you do it. What I'm saying is I don't know why you do it.
Exactly.
Okay,
Why
let's
not
say
just
the last
get a
thing.
job?
The last thing. I started up Acrylic Creations here again in November. I worked at it. Didn't go as good as I thought. That is this time why I ran my family into the ground, and that's why I did the red light photo blocker, because of the amount of money I had to make to get out of the trouble. I thought the Lord was having me do that business.
But in the
I tried it for
meantime,
3 weeks.
in the meantime, why not just get a job?
I
mean, I'm not saying don't pursue that, but why not go get a job to provide for your family?
That's why, in thinking about what happened and the steps that were taken, I thought that the red light photo blocker, that people would be interested in their constitutional rights being trampled on, and I would sell some cans. God told me.
It's not about the details. It's not about the details. Look, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what needs to happen here. And I'm going to ask Dan what he thinks needs to happen. I'm going to ask everybody what they needs to happen. We're also going to talk to Dan's sister and hear what she has to say.
We have given Jana and Dan crib sets for their children, 2 sets of 4 bunk beds, so 8 bunk beds in total. Those have all been sold. When Jana and Dan were in Hawaii, we wired $8,700 to buy a new van. A couple of other times, $1,000 here, $1,000 there. It's gotten to the point that we won't buy them anything anymore because they just sell it for pennies on the dollar. And we can't keep throwing money into a black hole. It makes no sense.
Let's pray now.
Lord, I pray that we get to move out of this house.
For the most part, we're standing in faith that God's going to do something in our life. But, you know, there's some practical ideas that we've been thinking of.
In these ponds, I breed tropical fish. It's a business that over a period of years, I could build up my own stock, and then I would be able to sell fish. One of the first things I started from seed was this mango tree. This mango tree is now almost 5 years old, and it will take even another 2 years before I get fruit from it. This was my first avocado tree. This is a pear, that's grapefruit. These are kiwi trees. If I had enough land, I'd plant more, and then I would actually want to sell that to local markets. I'm taking the steps, and the Lord is directing my path.
Well, Dan and Jan are here, and Jana's mother and stepfather are also here. Mom wrote in and said, I'm worried about this family. I'm worried about these children. You continue to say that you're led by the Lord in this, and I've told you that I think that if you're hearing the Lord, I can't believe that you're hearing him right. I mean, I'm just serious when I say that to you. I've asked Pastor James to be here. You say there are 2,300 Bible scriptures that deal with money, wealth, and they deal with earning, not giving. They deal with earning.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is, God is concerned with what we earn. God wants to make sure we work. There are so many scriptures in the Bible that deal with we need to get a job, we need to work, we need to provide for our family. If we do not provide for our family, then You know, the Bible clearly says you're not of the faith and you're worse than an unbeliever.
You said in response to Timothy 5:8 that if one doesn't provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied faith and is worse than an unbeliever.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of creative ideas and we've got a lot of investment opportunities, but if you do not have a stable way to provide day to day for your family, you're not hearing God. You have to have that stability in place. And then on the side, you can work on creative ideas, but we know creative ideas over the last couple of years have not worked for you. We've got to find what you're good at. In starting up these businesses, you've not seen success.
We're here stating that he's already applied to 5 or 6 different positions. We're working on more, but we're at a time crunch right now.
Why do y'all keep having children? Is there, I mean, that's
Is there something wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
I'm asking. Well, there's not anything wrong with it at all. I'm just asking, is this something that you feel called to do, or is it you don't believe in birth control? What's your, because that's a lot of kids when you got no job.
To be honest, my perspective, I just really have a hard time saying no to a life.
Just because I've had some troubles and I've been down, I've always tried to do the right thing unto the Lord.
You just heard Pastor Jane say what you're called to do is to work consistently to provide for your family.
Tell me the week I didn't do that, though.
Well, why would you be living the way you are if you provided for your family?
And you would know why I would be in the situation if you ever listened. And but you don't want to know the details of what happened to my last business.
But you got to live in the here and now, right? You can't sell mangoes in 2 years off of one tree. You can't pursue something that even if you were to sell.
Did you think selling mangoes was my main job? It isn't. I went from doing acrylic creations to 3 weeks of trying the red light photo blocker to now applying to jobs.
Are you going to work outside the home, or are you going to?
At this point in time, I have a 2-week-old, so I am not planning on working outside the home in the near future.
When we come back, Chris is Dan's sister, and she's going to join us via webcam. We'll be right back. Chris is Dan's sister, and she's joining us via webcam. Now, Chris says that Dan has put their parents in so much debt that they don't even have a retirement fund anymore. Are you there, Chris?
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Tell me what you think about all of this.
I think that Dan and Jana are trying to make valid points. He has always worked. He has always had different businesses. What I have a concern with is that, for me, self-employment is a risk. It's something where you can't count on the next order. If Dan and Jana on their own wanted to do those things, no problem, have at. But when you continue to have children, then you've got to step up and have something that you can count on.
I'm concerned at many different levels and about the thinking that's going on here. I kind of get real simple about these things. I'm one of those people that believes pray to God but row for the shore. Yeah. You know, you gotta say, you know, God's going to take care of this. Well, God gave you the oars, you know, so you got to get busy.
But it keeps on coming across that I'm not doing anything.
No, what keeps coming across is that you're not succeeding at what you're doing, and you're ignoring the responsibility of working daily to make ends meet. You're about to lose your house. You've borrowed money from these people to the point that they're bled dry. And at some point, you got to step up and say, look, I got to face the fact that I need to just get a paycheck every week to provide for my family. And you say you work all the time, then work after your work on those sort of things.
It's a man you're looking at that's worked for my entire working age.
Look,
and
you're
taking out the little times when I've had some problems, and now it's being blown up, and that's the kind of guy I am. It's not. What did Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego do? They went into the fire, and the Lord was with them. He says that he will deliver you, and he will.
Look, I have a problem when I think people use religion as a dodge instead of as...
Then that's why you don't know me.
A lifestyle. Are you going to go live in a shelter?
I'm not able to say exactly what I'm going to be able to do.
Because you don't know yet, but you figure something will happen. I mean, I'm sure you will find a place. I'm just telling you, I've been poor. I've been a poor kid. I've lived in the kind of house you're talking about right now. And I'm telling you, if you think that they like that that's okay, they don't.
And we're just doing what we think is the right thing to do. And right now it's trying to find a job.
And we'll be right back. Money is one of those necessary evils in this life to get by and have proper medical care and all the things that go in raising children in a healthy environment. What I would say to you two is you don't solve money problems with money. If you're going to take $10,000 or $20,000 and give it to them as a gift, you might as well put it in a paper shredder. Because at this point, your values and what you believe is in the best interest of those kids and their philosophy and approach are so different that it's not going to make a change. It's just going to push it back a little bit further. And you guys are going to do what you're going to do. And I just tell you, I understand your agenda. I don't agree with it. I think it is misguided. And I just hate the fact that your kids have to pay for your position. I think it's selfish, and I think they have to pick up the tab for it. And I think that's too bad. And I hope what you're saying is true. I hope that you're going to get a regular job where you can provide for them in a meaningful way. I hope that you do. I mean, you've given this entrepreneurship a fair chance. And you're educated, intelligent, able-bodied. I'm just telling you, my view, it's time to get a job. You say it is God's will to get a job and consistently provide for your family. Mm-hmm. And you'll have to, maybe you two can chat after, because I think you're well-intended. I don't think you're a bad guy. I'm just telling you I disagree with you. And if that's a slant, then sorry, that's my slant. Okay. Thank you for being here, and God bless the work at the Dream Center. Thanks so much. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
That is a complete lie.
How gossip led to a guilty verdict for two teen rivals.
You said, bam, the bitch is out. I'll slit her throat. Are you sorry that you did this?
It's just so hard.
This is serious business, and I take it seriously. Coming up. Let's do it. I want you to get excited about your life.
Here we go, in 10.
Stand by, camera 6.
If it's happening now, we're going to deal with it now.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Stand by A, and roll A, track it. Go, Dr. Phil.
That show on TV called Gossip Girls? It's about catty, mean girls who love to spread lies. It makes for fun viewing, but in real life, young girls can get in a tangled web of gossip and real-life drama that ends up tormenting their fellow teens. Now, my first guest, Kim, says that her daughter, Kaylee, has been the victim of gossip and a so-called prank. Kaylee is on her school's cheerleading squad along with Ruby and another teen. One of those girls took a picture of Kaylee in the shower, and what has happened since has the whole town buzzing and gossiping. Take a look.
My daughter's life has been ruined by real-life gossip girls. A nude photo of Kaylee, my 13-year-old daughter, was taken and circulated to the entire football team. 2 girls on the cheerleading squad took a picture without her even knowing.
I really thought they were my good friends, and they just turned around and stabbed me in the back.
It's been a nightmare for my daughter. What another child might feel as a prank could ruin someone's life. My daughter, Kaylee's invited to a sleepover. The next morning, Kaylee got in the shower. 2 fellow cheerleaders snuck into the bathroom. One of the girls distracted Kaylee from the front of the shower while the other girl put the cell phone in the back of the shower and snapped the picture.
I didn't know at all that the picture had been taken.
They ran out of the bathroom and forwarded the picture to one of the boys on the football team. Kaylee went to school on Monday, and she saw a bunch of people looking at stuff, laughing.
And one of my guy friends told me that it's been floating around school, a naked picture of me. It just really shocked me. The first boy on the football team passed it to another boy in choir, and everybody had it.
The next morning, the 2 girls got suspended and kicked off the cheer squad. The parents were outraged and got an attorney and threatened the school, and the girls are now back on the squad.
Something should have been done to them because they humiliated me.
My daughter's being treated more like an outcast than the victim. What they thought might have been a joke was definitely not a joke. It stripped my daughter of her youth and innocence.
And we'll talk to Kaylee, Kim, and some of the other players in this story when we come back.
All the girls are very competitive on the cheer team. I think the 2 girls wanted to embarrass her. They may be a little bit jealous of Kaylee because she's head cheerleader.
I couldn't believe that one of my friends would actually do that to me.
What would you do if a naked photo of your 13-year-old daughter was circulating around the school? Now, that's exactly what Kim says happened to her daughter, Kaylee. Now, Mauricio is the father of Ruby, who allegedly distracted Kaylee while the picture was taken. He says the girls were just playing around, and everybody needs to just get over this and move on. Take a look.
These 2 girls need to apologize to my child, and the parents should acknowledge the fact that the girls have done something wrong.
It was just one of those dumb mistakes the kids make.
We didn't mean to do it on purpose. We were just doing it because we thought it was funny.
I want to see the girls held accountable for their actions.
I'm at peace with myself that my daughter got disciplined through the school.
The parents should take some sort of responsibility and punish their child themselves.
As far as I'm concerned, nothing provocative or anything serious was shown.
This is a Class A felony. I got no support from either parent of the girls.
I just want to tell her that I'm sorry. I know we can't be friends again, but we don't have to be enemies.
Let it go because, the healing process starts when you start to forgive and forget.
Well, joining us is Kim and Kaylee and Ruby's dad, Mauricio, who is on the phone. So, Mauricio, I've got a question for you in just a second, okay?
Okay.
How is life for you now, Kaylee? I mean, is this dying out? Is it continuing on? What effect does this have on you at this point?
Since all this happened, it's just been really hard going to school with everybody because we live in a small town, and so everybody knows about it.
And Mom, this has affected her in terms of her grades and her comfort, and you said she feels like an outcast rather than a victim?
Yes, I think so. And I mean, self-esteem, she's embarrassed at 8th grade to go to school every day not knowing who, everybody seems like saw this picture. And
okay, well, let's talk about the picture, and I wouldn't obviously show it if we had it, even with it blurred, but what does the picture show? What's out there?
The picture shows the little girl put the camera in the back of the shower, so it shows Kaylee from the back, half of her backside, and she's kind of turned to the left. You can see her left breast and the top of her backside.
So have you seen the photo?
I did not see the photo.
Well, how can you describe it? Who's described it to you,
Kaylee described it to me because...
Have you seen the photo?
Yes.
She deleted it off of one of the phones.
Okay, but you've actually seen the photo. Now, Mauricio, you say there's not any parents, no school officials, not anybody in authority that has actually seen this picture.
There's no proven picture that could physically be seen and described the way they're describing it. So I think it's up to the person to describe and decrease or increase the intensity of the picture.
Okay,
and the authorities, the Brazoria County Sheriff's Department, has really come hard on us, and nothing has come out yet. $1,000 reward, nobody has come with a picture. There's nothing that has surfaced other than hearsay and whatever the person wants to think.
Okay,
I want to think of it the best, that it was nothing offensive. However, everybody's open for interpretation.
All right, but let me just be sure, because I think you have to deal with the facts whenever you can. I think anytime you try to resolve a dispute, I like to start out by saying, what do we agree with first?
Thank you.
And then we can say, what do we not agree with? And I'll ask you, Kim and Mauricio, you both agree that a picture was taken, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You both agree that that is an inappropriate thing to do, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
You both agree that to then circulate that picture to 1, 10, 20, any number of people would be inappropriate to do, correct?
Correct.
I agree.
That much we know for sure. Now, part of the gossip part that bothers me about this is it your position, Mauricio, and I think this is where we'll stop agreeing between the two of you if you say yes, is part of your position that Kaylee actually posed for this picture?
No, not at all. I don't even think.
Because that's gossip. I mean, that's part of the gossip that's gone around, that you were actually involved in posting this, right, Kaylee? And let me ask you, so you have the chance to say it very clearly, did you pose for this picture?
I did not pose for the picture.
What happened with these girls? Were they suspended?
The girls were suspended from school.
For 3 days?
For 3 days.
Okay.
And because they got suspended from school, in the cheer constitution that states if you're suspended for any reason from school that you are dismissed from the cheerleading team, which they were.
Okay, so this happened, but then they were reinstated.
They were reinstated.
And the suspension was expunged from their record.
Yes, it was.
Okay, now coming up, this is possibly not the first time that one of the girls has taken an unwanted photo of a classmate as a joke. We're going to hear from someone else who isn't laughing either. Plus, another cheerleader involved in the scandal speaks out when we come back.
Before this happened, Kaylee was your normal 8th grade girl.
I don't have as many friends as I used to. People are treating me differently.
Kaylee's life has basically been turned upside down.
Well, what happens when gossip goes too far? I think if you start gossiping at all, it's gone too far. But what happens when it actually takes on a life of its own, starts getting distorted and spread? Kim says her daughter Kaylee was victimized by 2 cheerleaders who took a naked photo of her. Now, this picture supposedly made its way around the football team and others at school. Now, news of the photo spread like a wildfire, and the gossip is that Kaylee actually posed for the photo. Kaylee has said that is absolutely not, underline, emphasize, not true. Now, another mom in the school says this is just not the first time the girls have tried to embarrass their daughters. Take a look at this.
My daughter, Savannah, has been a victim of mean behavior. Savannah was at a sleepover, and 2 girls took a picture of her in her bra and panties. My daughter realized they took the picture and were laughing about it. She grabbed the phone and immediately deleted it. It was the very same girls who took the picture of Kaylee.
I feel so bad for Kaylee.
Okay, Savannah, thanks for being here, and this is your mom, Kelly. So how do you feel about all of this?
No matter what Mauricio thinks, it's not the first time that it's happened. Yes, it was a prank, but these pranks are wrong. You cannot do this to children. Other kids should not be doing this and then turn around and put the blame back on these girls. They didn't do anything wrong.
What we've got here is a war going on among kids, gossiping back and forth, and you all now say that they're attacking you as well, and you saying things about each of you two, correct?
Yes.
And They're just saying ugly things about y'all. And frankly, I don't think we need to repeat those here. I mean, let's not give them more air, but they're dogging on you, right?
Yes, they are.
And they're dogging on you because you are standing up for your daughters and saying that this is wrong to do. Mauricio, and I have to ask you this, and you've got to have some compassion for this. How would you feel if this picture had been taken of Ruby?
I'll do the same thing the mother would do. I would go desperate and go crazy and just go anywhere I can to get help. And she's doing the right thing. But she went to the media immediately and brought it to the Houston market. Now that's how they know.
All right, now Michael is the father of the girl who is reported to have taken the picture and created a website in defense of his daughter. Now here's some of what he has to say about all of this. He says, and I quote, "This site has been established to protect and defend the honor, integrity, and dignity of two very brave young girls who, in the wake of insurmountable odds, did the right thing. We apologized about the incident several times to no avail. We asked what we could do now, and they said her life is ruined." Now, the mother and sister began to complain and berate us again. I promptly showed them the door. They threatened me as they left, telling me, "You're messing with the wrong people. You haven't seen anything yet." True?
That is a complete lie. When we went to their house, I went as a parent. I never raised my voice.
Well, how do you feel about him referring to these two girls involved in taking this picture as two very brave little girls?
They're brave for what they did and sent this photo out knowing what it was going to do. He thinks they're brave because they told the truth. Just because you tell the truth doesn't mean it wipes out the actions that you did. And
Okay.
he doesn't understand that.
My dad had a saying he used to tell me if I was in a tough situation. He'd say, "Look, son, you can whine about this, you can cry about this, you can talk about it all day long." He said, "But what you need to do is spend 5% of your time figuring out whether it's fair and right or not, and 95% of your time focused on what are you going to do about it." Now, when you're the target of gossip, girls, when somebody's picking on you, that's not fair, and it's not right. There's no way that I can say anything that's going to make that okay. But it is what it is. That's not, I mean, that's going to happen. And I'll tell you what else, that's not the last time it's going to happen. The question is, what are you going to do about it? If you let it get to you, if you let it change who you are and how you feel about who you are and start to distract you from your schoolwork and having fun and laughing, then you've given your power away. And moms, look, this is like stomping ants. This is a battle you can't win because it's elusive and you know, there's half-truths and somebody comes around, "I didn't say it, I just heard it. She said it, I didn't say it. You're fighting an invisible guerrilla war here. What's happened has happened. I'm just telling you the truth. I feel your pain. You know I do. I raise kids. I know what happens when your kids get picked on. But there's a situation where cooler heads need to prevail. You don't like the outcome. It's not fair, but it is. It just is what it is. And at some point you just have to say, it's not going to be fair, but I got to put my daughter's interest above revenge. I got to put my daughter's interest above justice. I got to move on. I promise you, if these girls keep being this way, it will catch up. We're going to add another story to this situation. It's teen gossip that got two girls convicted of a crime. And now one family faces losing their home over what the teens wrote online about another classmate. So it's right down the line of what we're talking about. We're right back. Listen to what...
The gossip between me and Mandy started when I found out that some other girl from our school had hung out with my boyfriend.
Ruth fears the threats could bring violence.
My daughter's friend, Nikki, was saying things like she was going to rip the girl's earrings out, she was going to bash her head in. It wasn't good.
Well, today we're talking about gossip, and the question is, what happens when real-life gossip girls go too far? My next guests, Mandy and Nikki, threatened the life of another classmate after rumors surfaced that she was going after Nikki's boyfriend. Now it's their families that might end up literally paying for the teenager's gossip.
As a result of my daughter's online gossip, we could potentially lose everything.
The MySpace conversation was an inside joke, but to everyone else, it was probably mean and violent.
The gossip between me and Mandy started when I found out that some other girl from our school had hung out with my boyfriend.
It's girls bickering, but they took it too far.
I told Mandy that I wanted to slit her throat. We were gonna smash her head.
And Mandy was just going along with it, kind of fueling her fire. It wasn't good. Another girl from school saw the conversation and then brought it to the school.
Me and Mandy got called down to the office and we saw our parents in there. It was then that we realized that everything we had done was a lot worse than what we thought.
The media was everywhere. It was on TV at least once a week.
The online threats and harassment are not a school problem, but rather a home problem.
The local media's angle was all about MySpace. It was something that they could grab onto, and they ran with it.
Ruth fears the threats could bring violence.
The principal told me this was just talk. Can he guarantee that no one was going to hurt her?
Charges don't equal guilt, so the accused students will still attend class.
Just the thought of going to juvenile detention center was really terrifying.
Got 6 months probation.
We had to do 30 hours of community service, an anger management class.
We got through that. She did what she needed to do, and at that point, we felt that it was all taken care of. Now, 2 years later, the victim's mother is suing for negligence.
My mom and I are reaching out to DrPhil now so we can show other kids that it's not fun and games talking about stuff like this.
Why was that hard to watch?
It's real. I don't know. It's hard going through all of it.
What were you girls thinking when you were doing this?
Was just to scare her away because we thought she liked my boyfriend and it wasn't meant to be taken seriously.
If you read something on the internet about some people that were conspiring to attack your daughter, wouldn't you be concerned?
Absolutely. Yeah, that
So
would scare me.
Why were you doing this? It wasn't even your boyfriend.
She was upset, so it upset me.
Mandy, you said gonna beat her to death or smash her head in the ground and make her hair red. I'll kill them. We're going to jail. Bam, the bitch is out. You said very similar things. I'll kill her, gonna slit her throat. You guys understand that in an environment in which we live, where people do go to school and kill people, shoot people, go off on people and kill classmates and teachers, that the world's really sensitized to this kind of thing, right? I mean, you know that now, correct?
Yeah.
Would you do this again?
No, I'd never do anything even similar to this. I definitely learned my lesson.
So how long ago did this happen?
2 years and 2 days.
Uh-huh. And so now you're facing this lawsuit.
Correct.
How you getting along with that boyfriend?
Still dating.
Uh-huh. So nobody stole him?
No.
He didn't go away. So false alarm?
Yes.
Are you two friends?
Not like we were before.
Why?
Probably just because of everything that we went through. It's not the same anymore.
Uh-huh. Ever beat anybody up?
No.
Ever hit anybody in the head till they bled and turned their hair red?
No.
Have you ever done anything like that?
I've never even been in a fight with anybody. Not a physical fight.
So you two were big talkers, but you don't have a history of violence.
No.
The stress of this lawsuit has clearly taken a toll on this family. Their greatest fear is losing everything over an error in judgment. Could they lose their house? Are they going to get financially crippled by this situation? And what does that do between a mother and daughter that have to live with that? We're going to talk about all that when we come back.
Mandy feels some shame from the entire situation.
Until it's over, it's still going to haunt me.
threats and harassment.
The local media was alerted by the victim's parents.
The two Genoa High students are charged, but the pair still attend school.
People would talk about it, and they would just make fun of me and Mandy for it. It changed everything.
Well, two families are now being sued after 18-year-old Mandy and 17-year-old Nikki made some very vicious comments about another classmate, Crystal, on MySpace. It all started with gossip about a classmate making a move on Nikki's boyfriend. So how do you feel about your family being sued?
I don't think we should be sued again. Me and Mandy definitely paid for everything that we, like the things we wrote. I don't think the punishment we got was worth everything. We had to do so much.
This is your mother, Nikki. Are you concerned about this?
Oh, very concerned about it. We have 3 mortgages on our house, and we're still making payments on the attorney for her in the original case 2 years ago. It went on that long.
Do you feel badly about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not their fault, and there's, like, I mean, I have a job, but I can't help them pay for everything.
And that hurts to see the family in jeopardy because of something you did.
Like, we never had like a lot of money, but like now it's just so hard, and like all the money they want from us, we can't get it. Like, I can't help them get it. My little job at a fast food restaurant can't. Like, I can't help them, and because of the MySpace thing, I can't get a better job because everyone knows about it.
I know what you parents would say, but let me ask both of you girls, what would you say to other kids, other girls that are thinking about getting on the internet, MySpace or Facebook or wherever it may be, and trashing other people and saying the kind of things that you guys said?
It's not worth going through anything you have to go through just for one night of typing on the internet for an hour, just trying to relieve stress.
Have you apologized to her?
Yeah, I have apologized multiple times. I sent her a message on MySpace right after it happened, before we even knew we were going to get in trouble for it. She didn't accept that apology.
Will you ever do anything like this again?
No, I can't even imagine doing something.
Will you ever do anything like this again?
No, wouldn't even cross my mind.
So you two have learned your lesson.
Over and over again. Yep.
Well, I hope you have, and I agreed to tell this story today because I want every mother watching this show, every mother with a teenage daughter, every teenage daughter, teenage son. We live in a different world, folks. And you got to be careful what you write down and think about it. It's a maturity issue. I think you've learned a hard lesson. I'm not a lawyer, but I can tell you if this goes to trial, then they're going to have to prove damages, and you're going to show that you've paid your debt to the criminal side of the court with the misdemeanor conviction, and it will be what it will be, and you will get through that. I mean, some way or another, you'll get through it. But it's not worth the relationship between you two. It's not worth the relationship between you two. Your daughters have said it's wrong, and you can't turn the clock back. It is hard to take back stupid. It's just hard to take back stupid, and what you did was a stupid thing to do. That's over. You've learned a lesson. You need to close ranks and not let this be a wedge that's driven between you. Your mother will stand by you through this, as she has. Your mother will stand by you. Don't let it fracture your family. You've said you were sorry. You've said you won't do it again. You've gone through your probation. You've done your community service. Just as I said earlier with Kaylee, it's time to move on. Whether you're victim or perpetrator, it's time to move on. All right, next, a new website that allows young people to go on and gossip about anything and anyone. They created it so they have a place to do this kind of thing. What's going on in their school, their neighborhood. No one is safe, not even you. We'll be right back. wonder why people gossip? You know, and you know, you've heard a piece of gossip and you just can't wait to tell somebody. If the answer is yes, my next guest gives people a forum to actually spread rumors. It's called GossipReport.com. Take a look.
I work for a website that lets people put up the gossip they hear, but it also lets you defend yourself. GossipReport.com is an online forum where users can read, write, and share gossip with their friends. Other social networks only give you half the story. On Gossip Report, you get the other side of the story, what people really think about you. If you hear gossip about your friend, you can post it online and see what everybody else is saying. Gossip spreads like wildfire, but with this site, you actually have a chance to defend yourself.
Everybody gossips. GossipReport.com is just a better way to do what everybody does. What do you think, Dr. Phil?
I'm not sure you want to know what I think. But what I want to know is what you think. I mean, come on, this is just a place for people to go trash each other, right? This is an electronic slam book.
I really don't see it that way. Gossip is, like I said, something that everybody does, and it serves a really great purpose in society. It's how society polices itself. It's how people look at the people that they're around and say, your actions are acceptable or your actions are not acceptable. And it's that conversation that we're trying to bring out in the open so that when something's said, the person that it's being said about can defend themselves or other people can defend themselves, but it's the discussion.
So you're just being a guardian of society. What if it's lies?
There are users who say good things and there are users who say bad things, and they're really responsible.
Isn't most of the traffic very negative?
Each member does what they want to do.
Well, now answer my question. Isn't most of the traffic very negative? We've been there.
Some of
We've
it
looked.
is. There's definitely some negative stuff on there, and there's absolutely some great stuff on there.
I assume the people have the guts to put their names on there and sign off and let people know who they are?
Not always, sometimes, but this is an anonymous forum, and that's a good thing because there are people who maybe wouldn't speak up for something that they want to say. Maybe they're afraid to say it in the open. This gives everybody a chance to have a voice.
Well, let me introduce Kristen, who was the victim of gossip on your site, by the way. An anonymous user claimed Kristen was driving around town drunk. This wasn't fun for you, right?
No, it wasn't fun. And it's a lot like the other girls. These are girls in college, mostly 23, 24, 21, that are spreading these rumors online.
Who did it?
I have no clue.
You think it was a woman?
I know it was by the Barbie girl screen name.
It actually was a guy, from what our investigation tells us.
Interesting.
I mean, that's the whole point. You don't have an opportunity to face your accuser, the person that's a slammer, because they don't put their names on there. They get screen names and they hide behind those, which I think is really a chicken way to do things. Technology, the march of technology. We'll be right back. Well, we've been talking about gossip today. Don't do it. You don't like it being done to you, you shouldn't do it to other people. And if you spread it, you're just as guilty as the person who started it. It's just so much easier to just walk on by. Thanks for being here today. So long.